The 1986 Masters Tournament stands as perhaps the most emotionally charged victory in the event's history. Jack Nicklaus, at 46 years old, claimed his sixth green jacket in a performance that transcended athletic achievement and became sporting legend. The Golden Bear had not won a major championship in 6 years, and many observers believed his contending days were behind him. The tournament began unremarkably for Nicklaus, with opening rounds leaving him well back of the leaders. But Sunday at Augusta has always possessed special magic, and that April afternoon, something extraordinary unfolded. Nicklaus began his final round 3 strokes behind leader Greg Norman, the powerful Australian who seemed poised to claim his first major. The back nine at Augusta has witnessed countless dramatic swings over the decades. But what Nicklaus accomplished that Sunday would become the standard against which all other charges are measured. Starting at the 10th hole, the Bear began to stir. A birdie at 9 had given him momentum. The gallery, sensing history might be in the making, began to swell around the fairways. Roars echoed across Amen Corner as Nicklaus navigated those treacherous holes with the wisdom of someone who had mastered them over 3 decades. The turning point came at the par 3 12th, where Nicklaus struck a beautiful tee shot and rolled in the birdie putt. Another birdie followed at 13, the par 5 that doglegs sharply left. By the time Nicklaus reached the 15th tee, the entire tournament had transformed. He struck a majestic 4-iron approach to the par 5 green, setting up an eagle opportunity that he converted with authority. The birdie at 16 came next, and suddenly the impossible seemed inevitable. Walking up the 17th fairway, his son Jackie serving as caddy, Nicklaus knew he needed one more birdie to put himself in command. The tee shot at 17 settled in perfect position, and Nicklaus attacked the flag with an aggressive approach that found the green. The putt, a sweeping right-to-left slider, caught the edge and dropped in. The roar that followed could be heard across the property. Television announcer Vern Lundquist's iconic call captured the moment as he proclaimed that Jack was back. The final round 65 gave Nicklaus a total of 279, 9 under par, and suddenly the pressure shifted to those playing behind him. Greg Norman, needing only a par at the 18th to force a playoff, pushed his approach into the gallery and faced a delicate pitch from a difficult lie. Norman's ball came up short in the front bunker, and his par putt slid past. The bogey gave Nicklaus the victory by a single stroke, with Norman and Tom Kite tied for second at 280. The victory was Nicklaus's 18th major championship, a record that still stands today as one of golf's most unassailable achievements. At an age when most professional golfers have long since retired from competitive play, Nicklaus had summoned the skills and competitive fire that defined his legendary career. The win was made more poignant by the presence of his family, with Jackie on the bag and the rest of the Nicklaus clan following every shot around the course. The 1986 Masters elevated Nicklaus from great champion to timeless icon. The performance demonstrated that excellence in golf transcends physical attributes and relies heavily on course management, mental strength, and the intangible qualities that separate the truly great from the merely talented. Augusta National, with its premium on precision and strategy, has always rewarded wisdom and experience, and no player embodied those virtues more completely than Jack Nicklaus. The 6 green jackets he accumulated between 1963 and 1986 represent a level of sustained excellence at one venue that may never be equaled. Each victory told its own story, but the final triumph carried special resonance that transcended mere statistics. The tournament purse had grown to $1.1 million, with Nicklaus earning $144,000 as champion, representing a record payout at the time for the prestigious event. The field of 144 players reflected the Masters' growing international appeal, though the cut line of 6 over par after 36 holes still winnowed the field significantly. Seve Ballesteros, the Spanish star who had won twice at Augusta, finished tied for 13th, while Tom Watson, another multi-time champion, tied for 14th. The leaderboard was filled with accomplished players, yet none could match what Nicklaus produced when it mattered most. The victory transcended golf and became a cultural touchstone. In the years since that memorable Sunday, the 1986 Masters has only grown in stature and significance across the golf world. It remains the tournament that older golf fans recall with particular fondness, a moment when the sport's greatest champion reminded everyone why he earned that title through decades of excellence. For younger fans who never saw Nicklaus in his prime during the 1960s and 70s, the victory provides a glimpse into the mental fortitude and shot-making ability that defined his career. Augusta itself seemed to conspire in the achievement, with the course playing to a firm but fair standard that rewarded precision and punished mistakes. The weather was ideal throughout the week, with mild temperatures and gentle breezes that allowed for aggressive scoring without making the course defenseless. The legacy of Nicklaus's sixth Masters extends beyond the record books into the realm of inspiration and possibility. The final round 65 remains one of the most scrutinized and celebrated rounds in major championship history, a masterclass in course management and clutch play under the most intense pressure imaginable. The 1987 Masters tournament delivered one of the most dramatic and unexpected conclusions in the event's history, as Larry Mize, a native Georgian who grew up near Augusta National, holed an improbable chip shot from 140 feet on the 11th hole to defeat Greg Norman and Seve Ballesteros in sudden death playoff. The victory was Mize's only major championship, and it came in a fashion that seemed scripted by Hollywood. The week had been marked by challenging conditions, with firm greens and tricky wind patterns testing the world's best players. When regulation play concluded, three accomplished champions stood tied at 285, 3 under par, setting the stage for a playoff that would produce one of golf's most memorable moments. Greg Norman, the powerful Australian known as the Great White Shark, had established himself as one of the game's premier players, though major championship success had proven frustratingly elusive. Seve Ballesteros, the charismatic Spaniard who had claimed the green jacket twice before, brought his own blend of creativity and competitive fire to the playoff. Larry Mize, though accomplished with multiple PGA Tour victories, was clearly the underdog in this trio. He had grown up in nearby Columbus, Georgia, and had dreamed of winning the Masters since childhood. Now, paired with two of golf's most celebrated figures, he faced the challenge of his career on a course he knew intimately but had never truly conquered. The playoff format at the Masters uses sudden death, with players continuing hole by hole until someone emerges victorious. The first playoff hole was the 10th, a demanding par 4 that plays downhill to a severely sloped green. All three players found the fairway with their tee shots, setting up approach shots that would test their nerve. Ballesteros, however, pulled his approach into the left greenside bunker, a costly mistake. Both Norman and Mize found the putting surface. Ballesteros failed to get up and down from the sand, making bogey and eliminating himself from the playoff. The attention now shifted entirely to Norman and Mize as they headed to the 11th tee. The 11th hole at Augusta is one of the most strategically complex par 4s in championship golf. The tee shot must navigate a narrow corridor flanked by trees on both sides, with the ideal position being just right of center to open up the best angle to the green. The putting surface sits at a lower elevation than the fairway, creating a downhill approach that must be judged precisely to avoid running through into the pond beyond. Both Norman and Mize found acceptable positions off the tee, setting the stage for the dramatic conclusion that would unfold in the next few minutes. Norman struck first, launching a solid approach that found the right edge of the green, perhaps 40 feet from the hole but safely in position to make par or possibly birdie. Mize, facing a longer shot from a less advantageous angle, pushed his approach to the right, missing the green entirely and leaving himself with a chip from about 140 feet. The ball came to rest on the close-cropped collar just off the putting surface. Mize surveyed the chip shot carefully, noting the slopes and undulations between his ball and the distant flag. The shot required perfect speed and line, threading between several subtle breaks while accounting for the downhill nature. He selected his sand wedge and took his stance. The actual stroke appeared smooth, the ball leaving the club face with perfect height and spin. It landed on the green and began rolling toward the hole, gathering speed as it tracked down the slope. As it approached, the roar from the gallery began to build. When the ball disappeared into the hole for a birdie two, the sound was deafening. Norman, standing on the green, could only shake his head in disbelief. He still had his putt for birdie to extend the playoff, but his attempt slid past, and suddenly Larry Mize was the Masters champion, his local roots and childhood dreams converging in a moment of pure magic. The victory came with a winner's share of $162,000 from a total purse of $1.28 million. The field of 102 players had been reduced to 45 after the 36-hole cut at 6 over par. The 1987 Masters had other notable storylines beyond the playoff drama. Jack Nicklaus, at age 47 and fresh off his emotional victory the previous year, finished tied for 10th. Ben Crenshaw tied for 6th. For Greg Norman, the loss was another in a series of major championship near-misses that would define his career as much as his victories. Larry Mize's triumph resonated particularly strongly in Georgia, where his local credentials and personal connection to Augusta National made him a beloved champion. He had played the course countless times as a youngster, studying its nuances and dreaming of one day slipping on the green jacket. That dream became reality in the most cinematic fashion imaginable, with a shot that will be replayed as long as golf tournaments are televised. The chip-in at 11 became part of Augusta lore, joining other famous shots like Gene Saracen's double eagle in 1935 and Jack Nicklaus's putt at 16 in 1986. These moments transcend mere statistics and scoring, becoming instead the emotional touchstones that connect fans to the tournament's rich history. In the years since that April afternoon, Mize's Masters victory has only grown in appreciation and significance. While he never won another major championship, that single triumph ensured his place in golf history and guaranteed him lifetime invitations to return to Augusta each spring. The shot itself has been analyzed from every conceivable angle, with slow-motion replays revealing the perfect technique and fortuitous bounces that combine to produce the miracle. For those present that day, whether in person or watching on television, the memory remains vivid and powerful, a reminder that sport's greatest moments often arrive unexpectedly and that underdogs can triumph when circumstances align. The 1987 Masters stands as testament to the unpredictable beauty of golf and the special magic that Augusta National conjures each April when the world's best players gather to compete for the most coveted prize in the sport. The 1988 Masters tournament belongs to Sandy Lyle, the affable Scotsman who became the first British player to claim the green jacket with a performance that culminated in one of the most improbable finishing shots in the tournament's history. Lyle's victory came on the strength of an eagle at the 72nd hole, holed from an unlikely position in the fairway bunker on the par 5 18th. The shot not only secured the championship but also opened the door for a generation of European players who would dominate Augusta over the following decades. The tournament played out under typical spring conditions, with the course firm and fast, testing every aspect of the players' games and producing a leaderboard filled with accomplished champions and rising stars. Sandy Lyle arrived at Augusta in 1988 as an established champion on both sides of the Atlantic. He had won the Open Championship at Royal St. George's in 1985, establishing his credentials as a major championship player, and his powerful swing generated the kind of length that suited Augusta's demanding layout. The week began promisingly for Lyle, with solid rounds that kept him in contention without placing him in the tournament lead. As the final round unfolded on Sunday, several players jockeyed for position at the top of the leaderboard, with no one able to seize complete control. The drama built gradually through the afternoon, with Augusta's back nine serving as the stage for decisive moments and crushing disappointments. Mark Calcavecchia, the talented American who would later win the Open Championship, emerged as Lyle's primary challenger down the stretch. Calcavecchia played brilliant golf through the middle of his final round, positioning himself to claim his first major title. As he navigated the treacherous closing holes, victory seemed within reach. But the 17th hole, a par 4 that requires precision from tee to green, proved his undoing. A wayward tee shot led to a bogey that dropped him back into a tie with Lyle, setting the stage for the dramatic conclusion at the 18th. The final hole at Augusta is a par 5 that curves gently uphill from tee to green, with bunkers strategically positioned to catch errant drives and approach shots. In 1988, the hole played at a length that gave long hitters like Lyle the opportunity to reach the green in 2 strokes. Lyle's drive found the center of the fairway bunker on the right side, a position that might have seemed disastrous to casual observers but which Lyle and his caddy evaluated differently. The lie was good, sitting cleanly on the sand, and the distance to the green, while substantial, was within range of a well-struck 7-iron. The decision to go for the green rather than lay up represented aggressive, championship golf, the kind of calculated risk-taking that defines major champions. The shot that followed will be remembered as long as golf is played. Lyle's swing was smooth and committed, the ball launching from the sand with ideal trajectory and spin. It cleared the front edge of the green, landed softly on the putting surface, and began rolling toward the flag. The ball tracked perfectly, finishing about 10 feet from the hole and leaving Lyle with a makeable eagle putt that would effectively seal the championship. The gallery erupted in appreciation of the shot's quality and audacity. When the eagle putt found the center of the cup moments later, Lyle had posted a total of 281, 7 under par, and the championship was effectively his unless disaster struck Calcavecchia behind him. Calcavecchia, needing an eagle of his own to force a playoff, gave himself a reasonable chance with a solid second shot. But the attempt slid past, and his birdie left him 1 stroke behind Lyle at 282. The margin of victory was narrow, but the manner of winning was emphatic, a bold shot executed perfectly under maximum pressure. Lyle's triumph made him the first British winner at Augusta since the tournament's inception, a surprising fact given Britain's rich golf tradition. The breakthrough opened the floodgates, as Nick Faldo would win the following year, beginning an era of European dominance that would reshape the Masters' identity. The tournament purse of $1.4 million reflected the Masters' growing commercial success, with Lyle earning $175,000 as champion. Sandy Lyle's victory had personal significance beyond the obvious glory of winning a major championship. He had overcome a third-round 76 that might have derailed a less resilient player, bouncing back with the kind of final-round performance that separates champions from contenders. His ability to execute under pressure, demonstrated most dramatically on the final hole, revealed the mental fortitude that all major winners must possess. The Scottish press celebrated the victory as a national triumph, and Lyle's everyman personality made him a popular champion both at home and internationally. The 1988 Masters also continued Augusta's tradition of producing unexpected moments and dramatic finishes that transcend mere sporting competition. The course, with its strategic complexity and psychological demands, has a remarkable ability to produce climactic theater on Sunday afternoon. Whether through brilliant shot-making like Lyle's bunker strike or through the heartbreak of near misses, Augusta creates narratives that resonate far beyond the golf world. In the decades since that memorable April week, Sandy Lyle's Masters victory has been celebrated as a watershed moment for European golf and a testament to shot-making under pressure. While Lyle's career would eventually be marked by inconsistency, the 1988 Masters represents his finest hour. The bunker shot at 18 has been replayed countless times, analyzed and appreciated by golf fans around the world who recognize the difficulty and audacity of the stroke. For British golf fans, the victory marked the end of a long drought and the beginning of a new era of success at Augusta. For Sandy Lyle himself, it was a career-defining achievement that earned him a permanent place in the game's history and the lifelong honor of being called a Masters champion. The 1989 Masters tournament introduced Nick Faldo to the elite club of Augusta champions through a sudden-death playoff victory over Scott Hawk that will forever be remembered for the putt that didn't fall. Faldo, the methodical Englishman who had rebuilt his swing under coach David Ledbetter, claimed his first green jacket in a manner that showcased both his resilience and his opponent's vulnerability under extreme pressure. The tournament unfolded over 4 days of challenging conditions, with firm greens and swirling winds testing every aspect of the players' games. By Sunday evening, 2 players stood tied at 283, 5 under par, setting the stage for a playoff that would produce one of the most discussed moments in Masters history. Scott Hawk arrived at the playoff as a talented player seeking his first major championship breakthrough. Throughout the final round, Hawk had played steady, patient golf, positioning himself for victory without spectacular shot-making. He entered Sunday with a 2-stroke lead after a strong third round, and his ability to maintain composure through the pressure-packed back nine suggested he possessed the mental fortitude necessary to claim the title. But major championship golf has a way of exposing weaknesses and magnifying mistakes, and Augusta's closing holes present unique challenges that have broken countless players over the decades. Nick Faldo's path to the playoff demonstrated the grinding, relentless style that would characterize his major championship victories. His final round 70 showcased steady, reliable golf, with Faldo avoiding the kind of mistakes that doomed contenders at Augusta. He made pars when pars were needed, birdies when opportunities presented themselves. When Hawk made a late bogey at the 17th hole, the 2 players found themselves tied, heading to the 18th with the championship hanging in the balance. Both made pars at the last, forcing the playoff. The playoff format at Augusta uses sudden death, with players continuing hole by hole until a winner emerges. The first playoff hole is traditionally the 10th, a challenging par 4 that plays downhill to a severely sloped green. Both players navigated the hole without incident, making pars that sent them to the 11th tee still deadlocked. The 11th hole at Augusta is perhaps the most demanding par 4 in championship golf, a dogleg left that requires precision from tee to green while managing the ever-present danger of water behind the putting surface. Faldo played the hole conservatively but effectively, positioning his tee shot in the fairway and his approach on the green, leaving himself a reasonable birdie attempt from about 15 feet. Scott Hawk's approach shot came up short of the ideal position, leaving him with a difficult first putt that he lagged close to the hole for what appeared to be a certain par. Faldo's birdie attempt slid past, leaving him with a short par putt that he calmly converted. Now Hawk faced a putt of approximately 2 feet to extend the playoff to a third hole. The distance was short enough that 99 times out of 100, a professional golfer would make it without difficulty. But major championship pressure operates by its own rules, magnifying small doubts and transforming routine tasks into ordeals. As Hawk stood over the putt, the weight of the moment seemed to press down upon him. The stroke was tentative, lacking the committed authority that short putts require, and the ball slid past the right edge of the hole without threatening to fall. The miss sent the players back to the 10th tee for a third hole of playoff golf. Faldo, having been granted an unexpected reprieve, played with renewed confidence. His tee shot found the fairway, and his approach settled on the green in excellent position. Hawk, still reeling from the missed short putt, could not recover his earlier composure. His approach found the bunker, and though he played a solid recovery shot, his par putt missed. Faldo's birdie putt found the center of the cup, and suddenly the Englishman was the Masters champion, his first major title secured in the most dramatic fashion imaginable. The victory came with a prize of $200,000 from a total purse of $1.5 million. The 1989 Masters will forever be associated with Scott Hawk's missed putt, an unfortunate legacy for a fine player. The two-footer that didn't fall became shorthand for choking under pressure, though that assessment oversimplifies the complex dynamics of major championship golf. Hawk had led by 2 entering the final round and played competently enough to force a playoff, achievements that deserve recognition even in defeat. But golf is ruthlessly meritocratic, and the margin between triumph and heartbreak can be measured in inches or even millimeters. For Nick Faldo, the victory represented vindication of his decision to rebuild his swing in pursuit of major championship glory. The methodical approach that sometimes drew criticism for lacking flair had proven effective under the most demanding circumstances. Faldo's ability to maintain his composure when granted a second chance demonstrated the mental toughness that all major champions must possess. The victory was merely the first of 3 Masters titles he would accumulate, with subsequent wins in 1990 and 1996 establishing him as one of Augusta's most successful champions. The tournament field of 99 players was reduced to 43 after the cut at 6 over par, with challenging conditions ensuring only the most skilled players could contend. Ben Crenshaw finished tied for 10th, while Seve Ballesteros tied for 16th. Greg Norman contended through 3 rounds before stumbling on Sunday. The 1989 Masters reinforced Augusta's reputation for producing memorable moments that transcend sporting competition. The course, with its strategic demands and psychological pressure, has an uncanny ability to create drama that resonates far beyond the immediate outcome. In the decade since that April week, Nick Faldo's first Masters victory has been celebrated as the launching point for one of the great careers in modern golf, while Scott Hawk's missed short putt has become a cautionary tale about the fine margins that separate champions from runners-up. The 1990 Masters tournament belonged entirely to Nick Faldo, who became the first player since Jack Nicklaus in 1965 and 1966 to win consecutive green jackets. Faldo's wire-to-wire performance showcased the methodical excellence that defined his game during this peak period of his career, with steady, grinding golf from Thursday through Sunday that never gave his pursuers a realistic chance to overtake him. The victory margin of 5 strokes over Raymond Floyd underscored Faldo's dominance throughout the week, and his total of 278, 10 under par, reflected ideal scoring conditions that allowed the world's best players to attack Augusta's pristine layout with confidence. The tournament began with Faldo firing an opening round 66 that immediately established him as the player to beat. His ball striking was precise throughout the day, with approach shots consistently finding the putting surfaces and giving him numerous birdie opportunities. The rebuilt swing that he had developed with coach David Ledbetter was functioning at its absolute peak, producing the kind of reliable, repeatable ball flight that major championship golf demands. By the end of Thursday's play, Faldo held a clear lead, and over the following 3 days, he would maintain or extend that advantage through patient, strategic golf that avoided the costly mistakes that doom contenders at Augusta. Raymond Floyd, at 47 years old, mounted a spirited challenge that ultimately fell short but demonstrated that age need not be a barrier to contending at the highest level. Floyd's career had already included victories at all 4 major championships, making him one of the elite players in golf history. His experience at Augusta, including his dominant win in 1976 when he tied the tournament scoring record, gave him intimate knowledge of the course's subtleties. Throughout the week, Floyd played smart, percentage golf, avoiding aggressive plays that can lead to disaster. But Faldo was simply too consistent to allow Floyd or anyone else to mount a serious challenge. The final round provided one last moment of drama when Faldo birdied both the 17th and 18th holes to complete his victory in emphatic fashion. The birdie at 17 came from a beautifully judged approach that left him with a short putt, and the closing birdie at 18 was the result of a perfectly struck tee shot and a crisp second shot that found the green in ideal position. The gallery, appreciating the quality of Faldo's performance throughout the week, offered sustained applause as he walked up the final fairway, acknowledging not just the victory but the manner in which it had been achieved. Faldo had controlled the tournament from start to finish, never trailing and never allowing doubt to creep into his pursuers' minds about who would wear the green jacket. Faldo's back-to-back victories placed him in rarefied company at Augusta. Only Jack Nicklaus among modern players had previously accomplished consecutive wins, and Nicklaus remains the tournament's all-time leader with 6 green jackets. Faldo's 2 titles in 2 years established him as one of the dominant forces in major championship golf at the turn of the decade, and his methodical approach provided a contrast to the more aggressive styles of players like Seve Ballesteros and Greg Norman. The Englishman's success demonstrated that major championships could be won through conservative, strategic play rather than through daring gambles and heroic shot-making. His style may not have always pleased spectators seeking excitement and risk-taking, but it proved remarkably effective under the intense pressure of major championship competition. The tournament purse of $1.6 million reflected the Masters' continued growth as a commercial enterprise and major sporting event, with Faldo's winner's share of $225,000 representing a significant prize even by modern standards in professional golf. The field of 108 players was reduced to 43 after the 36-hole cut at 4 over par, with favorable weather conditions throughout the week allowing for aggressive scoring without making the course defenseless. John Houston, a relative newcomer to major championship contention, finished tied for 3rd, demonstrating the depth of talent in professional golf during this era. Jack Nicklaus, at age 50, finished tied for 46th in what many observers believed might be one of his final Masters appearances. The Golden Bear had provided perhaps the tournament's most memorable moment 2 years earlier with his miraculous 6th victory. But time was finally catching up with golf's greatest champion. Nick Faldo's consecutive Masters victories established him as one of the premier players in world golf and set the stage for what would be a remarkable period of major championship success. Between 1987 and 1996, Faldo would win 6 major titles, including 3 green jackets, establishing himself among the elite champions of his era. His methodical approach, sometimes criticized as boring or overly cautious, proved perfectly suited to the demands of major championship golf, where avoiding mistakes is often more important than producing spectacular shots. The consecutive Masters wins demonstrated his ability to maintain excellence over time rather than producing isolated moments of brilliance. The 1990 victory perhaps best exemplified his methodical excellence, showing how major championships can be won through patient accumulation of small advantages rather than through dramatic swings and spectacular moments. For Nick Faldo, it was validation of his rebuilt swing, his strategic approach, and his mental toughness under the unique pressures that Augusta creates each April when the world's best players gather to compete for golf's most coveted prize. The 1991 Masters tournament delivered a victory for Ian Woosnam, the diminutive Welshman who became the first player from Wales to claim the green jacket. At just 5 feet 4 inches tall, Woosnam defied the conventional wisdom that power and length required significant physical stature, demonstrating that technique, timing, and fierce competitive spirit could overcome any perceived disadvantage. His triumph came with a final score of 277, 11 under par, securing victory by 1 stroke over Jose Maria Olazabal in a tightly contested finish that showcased the international flavor increasingly characterizing major championship golf. The week unfolded under favorable conditions at Augusta National. with mild temperatures and receptive greens allowing for aggressive scoring without making the course defenseless against the world's best players. Woosnam arrived at Augusta in 1991 riding a wave of confidence and strong form. He had established himself as one of Europe's premier players through consistent performances on both the European Tour and the PGA Tour, with multiple victories demonstrating his ability to compete at the highest level. His powerful swing, generated through perfect sequencing and explosive hip rotation rather than sheer size, produced ball speeds that rivaled much larger players. Throughout the week, Woosnam's ball striking was exemplary, with his iron play particularly impressive as he consistently found greens in regulation and gave himself numerous birdie opportunities. The par fives proved especially productive for the Welshman, as he eagled the 8th hole and collected multiple birdies on the reachable long holes that can make or break a Masters champion. The final round provided the drama and tension that Augusta National reliably produces when major championships hang in the balance. Woosnam birdied the 17th hole to maintain his slim advantage, demonstrating clutch play that separates champions from contenders. Jose Maria Olazabal, the talented Spaniard who would later win his own Masters titles, mounted a spirited challenge that ultimately fell one stroke short. Olazabal bogeyed the 18th hole after finding the greenside bunker, a cruel finish that denied him the playoff opportunity he needed. Woosnam's par at 18 secured victory, and the celebration began for the first Welsh major champion in golf history. The victory held special significance for Woosnam personally and for Welsh golf more broadly. Wales had produced talented players over the decades but had never before claimed one of golf's most prestigious prizes. Woosnam's triumph inspired a generation of Welsh golfers and demonstrated that players from smaller golfing nations could compete with and defeat the established powers. His emotional celebration on the 18th green resonated with fans who appreciated the human dimension of athletic achievement. The green jacket ceremony that evening carried extra weight as Woosnam became only the second European winner in 3 years. The tournament purse of $1.75 million reflected the Masters' continued growth as a commercial enterprise and global sporting event, with Woosnam's winner's share of $300,000 representing a life-changing sum. The field of 102 players was reduced to 43 after the 36-hole cut at 5 over par, with challenging conditions early in the week winnowing the field to only the most skilled and mentally tough competitors. Fred Couples finished tied for 4th, continuing his pattern of strong performances at Augusta that would culminate in his own victory the following year. Lanny Wadkins, the fiery American competitor known for his aggressive style, tied for 10th, while defending champion Nick Faldo finished tied for 6th as he sought to become the first player to win 3 consecutive Masters. Ian Woosnam's Masters victory came during a remarkable period in his career when he competed at the absolute peak of his abilities. In 1991, he also achieved the world #1 ranking, confirming his status as the game's premier player during that season. His success demonstrated that the technical changes and increased emphasis on fitness that were transforming professional golf favored those who could generate maximum clubhead speed through efficient mechanics rather than requiring imposing physical size. Woosnam's compact swing produced tremendous power through the impact zone, and his excellent short game around Augusta's demanding greens proved crucial in navigating the course's many challenges. The combination of power and touch that he displayed throughout the week exemplified the complete skill set necessary to win at Augusta National. The 1991 Masters also marked a transitional moment in the tournament's history, as the generation of players who had dominated the 1980s gradually gave way to new champions. The emergence of international stars like Woosnam, Faldo, Lyle, and Ballesteros reflected golf's increasingly global character. American dominance that had characterized the Masters through most of its history was giving way to a more competitive international field, enriching the tournament and broadening its appeal. In the years following his Masters triumph, Woosnam would face various challenges including back injuries and inconsistent form, but the green jacket remained the crowning achievement of his career. For Welsh sports fans, Woosnam's Masters win ranks among the nation's greatest athletic achievements. The image of the small Welshman in the green jacket became an enduring symbol of determination overcoming perceived limitations. The 1991 Masters reinforced Augusta National's defining characteristics as a venue for major championship golf. The course's strategic complexity rewarded intelligent play rather than mindless aggression. The greens demanded precision and creativity, qualities that Woosnam possessed in abundance. For Ian Woosnam, navigating these challenges successfully while maintaining composure under intense pressure represented the culmination of years of work and the realization of dreams that seemed impossible when he first took up the game as a youngster in Wales. The 1992 Masters tournament belongs to Fred Couples, whose smooth swing and effortless power earned him his first and only major championship in a performance that captivated golf fans worldwide. Couples won with a score of 275, 13 under par, finishing 2 strokes ahead of Raymond Floyd and Davis Love III in a final round that featured one of the tournament's most famous moments of good fortune. The victory confirmed Couples as one of the game's premier players during the early 1990s and provided American golf fans with their first Masters champion since Larry Mize in 1987. The week unfolded under ideal Augusta conditions, with the course playing firm but fair and allowing the world's best players to showcase their skills without the extreme difficulty that sometimes characterizes the tournament. Fred Couples arrived at the 1992 Masters as a player whose immense talent had been obvious for years but whose major championship breakthrough had proven elusive. His languid, powerful swing produced prodigious length off the tee, and his relaxed demeanor on the course belied fierce competitive instincts. Throughout the week, Couples demonstrated the kind of complete golf that major championships demand, with excellent driving positioning him in ideal spots for approach shots, crisp iron play finding greens in regulation, and solid putting converting the birdie opportunities his ball striking created. His ability to score on the par fives proved particularly important, as he repeatedly reached the reachable long holes in 2 strokes and converted eagles and birdies that separated him from the chasing pack. The final round provided the drama and memorable moments that define Augusta's place in golf history. Couples held the lead heading into Sunday but faced challenges from veteran Raymond Floyd, who at 49 was seeking to become the oldest Masters champion, and Davis Love III, a talented young player beginning his own pursuit of major championship glory. The pivotal moment came at the par 3 12th hole, where Couples' tee shot came up short and appeared destined to roll back down the bank into Rays Creek. But the ball stopped on the slope, defying gravity in a moment of incredible fortune. Couples managed to chip up and make par, preserving his lead at the most dangerous hole on the course. That moment of luck at 12 became part of Masters lore, one of those instances where fortune favors champions. Couples maintained his composure through the remaining holes, parring Amen Corner without disaster. He birdied the 15th hole to extend his lead, demonstrating that he could produce quality shots under pressure when circumstances demanded it. His final round 69 showcased steady, patient golf, the kind of performance that wins major championships through accumulation of small advantages and avoidance of costly mistakes. The tournament purse of $1.9 million reflected the Masters' continued commercial growth, with Couples earning $325,000 as champion. The field of 108 players was reduced to 43 after the cut at 6 over par, with challenging conditions early in the week testing the field's depth. Nick Faldo, seeking to continue his Augusta dominance with a 3rd consecutive victory, finished tied for 5th, demonstrating that even the tournament's recent Masters could not maintain their supremacy indefinitely. Corey Pavin tied for 10th, continuing his pattern of solid major championship performances, while Payne Stewart, the colorful American known for his distinctive +4s, finished tied for 17th as he pursued his own major championship goals. Fred Couples' Masters victory represented the pinnacle of a career that included numerous PGA Tour wins and consistent excellence at the highest level of professional golf. His smooth, powerful swing became a model for aspiring players, and instructors analyzed his technique for insights into generating clubhead speed through rhythm and timing rather than violent effort. The victory also provided validation for those who had long believed that Couples possessed the talent to win major championships, silencing critics who questioned whether his relaxed demeanor masked insufficient competitive fire. The green jacket proved that Couples could summon the focus and determination necessary to prevail at golf's most demanding venues against the world's best players. The 1992 Masters marked an important moment in American golf's evolution, as players like Couples, Love, and others represented a new generation seeking to reclaim dominance that previous American stars had enjoyed. While European players had recently enjoyed considerable success at Augusta and other majors, Couples' victory demonstrated that American golf remained highly competitive and capable of producing champions at the sport's highest level. The victory was particularly sweet for Couples personally, as Augusta's layout suited his game perfectly, with wide fairways rewarding his length and undulating greens demanding the kind of touch and creativity that he possessed naturally. In the years following his Masters triumph, Couples would continue to compete at a high level, though additional major championships would elude him despite several close calls. The green jacket remained the defining achievement of his career, the moment when talent and opportunity converged to produce victory at one of golf's most prestigious events. For Augusta, the tournament reinforced key themes that have characterized the Masters throughout its history. The course rewards players who can manage their games intelligently, avoiding disasters while capitalizing on scoring opportunities. Fred Couples' victory highlighted the importance of experience and maturity in major championship golf. At 32 years old, he had competed in enough pressure situations to understand how to manage his emotions and maintain focus through 4 demanding rounds. The 1992 Masters stands as testament to Couples' skills and composure, a week when everything aligned perfectly for a player whose smooth swing and easy demeanor masked the competitive excellence that defines all champions in professional golf. The 1993 Masters tournament delivered a second green jacket to Bernhard Langer, the methodical German who overcame a decade-long gap between his victories at Augusta National to reclaim the championship he had first won in 1985. Langer's triumph came with a final score of 277, 11 under par, securing victory by 4 strokes over Chip Beck in a dominant Sunday performance that showcased the precision and consistency that defined his game. The victory made Langer only the 3rd European player to win multiple Masters titles, joining Seve Ballesteros and Nick Faldo in that exclusive club and confirming Europe's emergence as a major force in professional golf. The week unfolded under typical spring conditions at Augusta, with the course playing to its strategic strengths and rewarding players who could combine power with accuracy and touch. Bernhard Langer arrived at the 1993 Masters as a player who had battled and largely conquered the yips, the dreaded putting affliction that has ended many careers and tormented even the most talented ball strikers. His journey back from that low point represented one of golf's most inspiring comeback stories, demonstrating that technical problems can be overcome through persistence, experimentation, and unwavering determination. Throughout the week, Langer's ball striking was exemplary, with his iron play particularly impressive as he consistently found greens in regulation and positioned approach shots close to the pins. His putting, while never conventionally smooth, proved effective enough to convert the numerous birdie opportunities his excellent approach play created. The combination of precision from tee to green and adequate performance on the greens proved sufficient to dominate the field. The final round provided a clinic in major championship golf, as Langer pulled away from his pursuers with a performance that never allowed doubt to creep into the outcome. He eagled the par 5 13th hole with a magnificent approach shot and birdie putt, effectively ending any suspense about who would wear the green jacket. Additional birdies at 15, 16, and 17 extended his lead and turned the final round into a victory lap rather than a tense battle. His ability to maintain focus and continue playing aggressively even after securing a comfortable advantage demonstrated the champion's mentality. The Sunday 69 showcased patient, intelligent golf that avoided mistakes while capitalizing on scoring opportunities. Chip Beck, the talented American who finished second, posted a final round that included no birdies on the back nine, a curious statistical anomaly that sparked considerable discussion about whether he had played too conservatively. Beck's decision to lay up on the par 5 15th hole while trailing by several strokes became a topic of debate, with critics arguing that the situation demanded aggression rather than caution. His runner-up finish, while a solid achievement, highlighted the fine line between smart course management and excessive conservatism in major championship golf. The 4-stroke margin of victory underscored Langer's dominance throughout the week and confirmed that he was the most deserving champion. The tournament purse of $2.1 million reflected the Masters' continued growth as one of golf's premier events, with Langer earning $300,000 as champion. The field of 112 players was reduced to 43 after the cut at 5 over par, with typical spring conditions producing a challenging but fair test. Fred Couples, the defending champion, finished tied for 16th as he sought to become only the second player after Jack Nicklaus to win consecutive Masters in the modern era. Davis Love III tied for 10th, continuing his pattern of strong performances at Augusta that would eventually lead to his own major championship breakthrough. Vijay Singh, the talented Fijian who would later become one of the game's dominant players, made his Masters debut and finished tied for 41st. Bernhard Langer's second Masters victory represented vindication of his decision to continue competing at the highest level despite the putting struggles that might have driven a less determined player to retire or reduce his schedule. His methodical approach to the game, characterized by thorough preparation and attention to detail, proved perfectly suited to Augusta's demands. The course rewards players who can think their way around its challenges, avoiding the disasters that can derail even the most talented ball strikers while capitalizing on opportunities when they present themselves. Langer's ability to maintain his composure under pressure demonstrated most clearly in his confident play on the back nine Sunday, confirmed that he possessed the mental fortitude necessary to win major championships. The 1993 Masters continued the trend of European success at Augusta that had characterized the tournament since the mid-1980s. While American players still competed fiercely, the emergence of European champions demonstrated golf's increasingly global character. Langer, along with contemporaries like Faldo, Ballesteros, Lyle and Woosnam, proved that European players could master Augusta's unique challenges and compete successfully against the world's best. This international flavor enriched the tournament and broadened its appeal across continents. In the years following his second Masters victory, Langer would continue to compete successfully both on the regular tour and eventually on the senior circuit, where he would dominate for years. But the Green Jackets remained the defining achievements of his career, the moments when he conquered golf's most iconic venue. For German golf fans, Langer's success provided a source of national pride and inspiration for future generations. The 1993 Masters reinforced truths about championship golf that have remained constant. Langer's methodical, precise approach provided a model for players seeking to maximize their abilities. For Bernhard Langer, the second green jacket confirmed what the first had suggested, that he belonged among golf's elite champions, a player whose name would forever be associated with excellence at Augusta National. The 1994 Masters tournament delivered a green jacket to Jose Maria Olazabal, the talented Spaniard whose victory came after years of near misses and demonstrated the kind of persistence and skill that defines major championship success. Olazabal won with a score of 279, 9 under par, finishing 2 strokes ahead of Tom Lehman in a final round that showcased his exceptional short game and mental toughness. The victory was particularly meaningful for Olazabal given his earlier runner-up finish to Ian Woosnam in 1991, proving that he could learn from disappointment and return to claim the title. The week unfolded under challenging conditions at Augusta National, with firm greens and steady winds testing every aspect of the players' games and ensuring that only the most complete performances would contend for victory. Jose Maria Olazabal arrived at the 1994 Masters as an established star on both the European Tour and the PGA Tour, with multiple victories demonstrating his ability to compete at the highest level. His background as a protege of Seve Ballesteros had instilled in him the creative, aggressive style that characterized Spanish golf during this era. Throughout the week, Olazabal's short game proved to be the difference, with his ability to get up and down from difficult positions around Augusta's treacherous greens saving par repeatedly and allowing him to maintain his position near the top of the leaderboard. His iron play was solid without being spectacular, but his wedge work and putting under pressure separated him from the field and demonstrated why Augusta National so often rewards players with exceptional touch and feel. The final round provided the tension and drama that major championship Sundays at Augusta reliably produce. Greg Norman, the powerful Australian whose major championship heartbreaks were becoming legendary, birdied the 12th hole late in his round to briefly take the lead. But Olazabal, playing in the final group, birdied the 13th and 15th holes to regain control of the tournament. Norman bogeyed the 12th shortly after his birdie, a cruel swing of fortune that epitomized his struggles to close out major championships. Tom Lehman mounted a late charge with excellent play on the back nine, but his birdie at the 18th came too late to put real pressure on Olazabal, who needed only a par at the last to secure victory. Olazabal's approach shot to the 18th found the green safely, and his 2 putts for par completed a final round 70 that gave him the victory by 2 strokes. The emotional celebration that followed reflected both the joy of victory and the relief of finally breaking through after coming close on previous occasions. For a player who had experienced disappointment at Augusta and other majors, the green jacket represented validation of his talent and confirmation that he belonged among golf's elite champions. His short game wizardry around the greens had saved pars repeatedly during the week, demonstrating that Augusta National rewards players who can scramble effectively and convert difficult up and downs under pressure. The tournament purse of $2.45 million reflected the Masters' continued growth as a premier sporting event, with Olazabal earning $360,000 as champion. The field of 111 players was reduced to 43 after the cut at 6 over par, with firm, fast conditions throughout the week testing the field's ability to control trajectory and spin. Nick Price, the Zimbabwean star who would dominate major championship golf later that year with victories at the Open Championship and PGA Championship, finished tied for third, continuing his ascent to the top of the world rankings. Tom Lehman's runner-up finish presaged his own major championship breakthrough at the Open Championship 2 years later, while Greg Norman's 4th-place tie added another chapter to his catalog of near misses at major championships. Jose Maria Olazabal's Masters victory came despite serious foot problems that had begun to affect his ability to practice and compete. The rheumatoid arthritis in his feet would eventually become so severe that his career seemed in jeopardy, making this first Masters victory even more precious in retrospect. His ability to perform at such a high level while managing significant pain demonstrated extraordinary mental toughness. The victory also confirmed that the European dominance at Augusta showed no signs of abating, with Olazabal joining fellow Spaniard Ballesteros and other European stars in the Masters Champions Club. The 1994 Masters reinforced key themes about championship golf at Augusta. The course's emphasis on precision approach play and excellence around the greens favored players like Olazabal, whose short games allowed them to overcome occasional wayward shots. Olazabal's ability to maintain composure when Norman briefly seized the lead demonstrated the kind of mental fortitude that all major champions must possess. Greg Norman's continuing struggles to win at Augusta added another painful chapter to his relationship with the tournament. The Australian's immense talent was undeniable, but his inability to close out major championships, particularly at Augusta, became one of golf's enduring narratives. His performance, where he held the lead briefly before faltering, foreshadowed the even more devastating collapse he would experience 2 years later. In the years following his first Masters victory, Olazabal would battle the foot problems that threatened to end his career, making several comebacks before ultimately winning a second green jacket in 1999. But the 1994 victory represented the moment when he established himself as a major champion. For Spanish golf fans, Olazabal's success continued the tradition that Ballesteros had established. His creative, aggressive style and exceptional short game became a model for aspiring players. The green jacket confirmed Jose Maria Olazabal's place among golf's elite players. The 1995 Masters tournament belongs to Ben Crenshaw, whose emotional victory just days after his mentor Harvey Pennock's funeral became one of the most poignant and memorable moments in the tournament's history. Crenshaw won with a score of 274, 14 under par, finishing one stroke ahead of Davis Love III in a final round performance that seemed guided by forces beyond mere athletic skill. The victory was Crenshaw's second Masters title, coming 11 years after his first triumph in 1984, and the tears that flowed as he walked off the 18th green reflected both the joy of victory and the grief of losing the man who had shaped his golf game and his life. The week unfolded under ideal Augusta conditions, with receptive greens and mild weather allowing for low scoring, but nothing about the conditions could explain the magical quality of Crenshaw's performance. Ben Crenshaw arrived at the 1995 Masters emotionally drained from serving as a pallbearer at Harvey Pennock's funeral just days earlier. Pennock, the legendary instructor who had taught Crenshaw from childhood and mentored him throughout his professional career, had passed away on the Sunday before Masters Week. Crenshaw flew to Austin for the funeral, wondering whether he could summon the focus and energy necessary to compete effectively at Augusta. Yet from the moment he struck his first tee shot on Thursday, something extraordinary seemed to be happening. His putting stroke, always his greatest strength, appeared guided by an unseen hand, with ball after ball finding the center of the cup. His wire-to-wire performance led after every round, a level of consistency that betrayed the emotional turmoil he was experiencing. The final round provided high drama as Davis Love III mounted a serious challenge with excellent play throughout the day. Love, playing in the final group with Crenshaw, birdied the 17th hole from a greenside bunker to pull within one stroke, putting enormous pressure on Crenshaw as they headed to the 18th tee. The par 4 18th at Augusta is not the most difficult closing hole in major championship golf, but its significance and the pressure of the moment transform it into one of the sport's most demanding tests. Crenshaw's drive found the fairway, and his approach settled safely on the green. Love's approach also found the green, giving him a legitimate birdie opportunity. Love's birdie attempt slid past the hole, meaning that Crenshaw needed only 2 putts to secure victory. His lag putt left him with a short par attempt that he converted with the smooth stroke that had served him so well. As the ball disappeared into the hole, Crenshaw bent over in tears, overcome by emotion. The image of him being comforted by his caddy Carl Jackson became one of the Masters' most iconic photographs. In his victory speech, Crenshaw spoke of feeling Pennock's presence throughout the week. The tournament purse of $2.7 million reflected the Masters' continued commercial growth, with Crenshaw earning $400,000 as champion. The field of 110 players was reduced to 43 after the cut at 4 over par. Greg Norman finished tied for 5th, continuing his pattern of strong performances at Augusta that never quite resulted in the green jacket. John Daly tied for 30th. Fred Couples, the 1992 champion, tied for 10th. Ben Crenshaw's second Masters victory confirmed his status as one of Augusta's most successful champions and one of the game's premier putters. His smooth, rhythmic stroke on the greens became a model for aspiring players. The victory also demonstrated that major championships can be won through exceptional short games and course management rather than through pure power. Crenshaw's ability to scramble effectively and convert crucial putts under pressure separated him from talented players who lacked those skills. The 1995 Masters represented a significant moment in the tournament's broader narrative, as Crenshaw's wire-to-wire victory demonstrated complete dominance from start to finish. Leading after every round requires not only excellent play but also the mental fortitude to withstand the pressure of defending a lead through 4 demanding days. Crenshaw's ability to maintain focus despite the emotional strain of Pennock's death demonstrated extraordinary mental toughness and competitive character. The victory proved that champions can summon their best performances even when circumstances seem least favorable. Harvey Pennock's influence on Crenshaw's career and the 1995 Masters victory cannot be overstated. The legendary instructor's emphasis on fundamentals, tempo, and the mental aspects of golf shaped Crenshaw's entire approach to the game. Pennock's teaching philosophy stressed that golf was played primarily between the ears, that physical talent meant little without the mental discipline to apply it under pressure. Crenshaw embodied these principles throughout his career, and never more so than during the 1995 Masters when he channeled his grief into focused, purposeful golf. The tribute he paid to Pennock after the victory touched golf fans worldwide. In the years following his second Masters triumph, Crenshaw would transition into other roles in golf, including serving as captain of the victorious 1999 United States Ryder Cup team and establishing himself as one of the sport's premier course designers. But the 1995 Masters victory remained the pinnacle of his playing career, the moment when skill, emotion, and circumstance combined to produce a performance that transcended athletic achievement and entered the realm of the spiritual. For Augusta, the tournament reinforced the course's capacity to produce moments of genuine human drama, occasions when sport reveals deeper truths. Ben Crenshaw's second green jacket, earned under the most emotionally demanding circumstances imaginable, stands as one of the Masters' most moving and memorable victories, a reminder that golf at its best can touch the heart as well as test the skills of those who compete at the highest level. The 1996 Masters tournament will forever be remembered as one of the most dramatic and heartbreaking collapses in major championship history, as Greg Norman squandered a 6-stroke lead entering the final round and lost to Nick Faldo by 5 strokes. Faldo's final score of 276, 12 under par, secured his third green jacket, but the story of the week was Norman's stunning implosion that saw him shoot 78 on Sunday after leading the tournament through 54 holes. The Australian, who had endured numerous major championship disappointments throughout his career, suffered perhaps his most devastating loss at Augusta National, turning what should have been a coronation into a cautionary tale about the psychological pressures of championship golf. The week unfolded under challenging conditions, with Saturday rain softening the course temporarily before firmer conditions returned for the final round. Greg Norman entered Sunday's final round with a commanding 6-stroke advantage over Nick Faldo, his playing partner in the final group. History suggested that such a lead was insurmountable, particularly for a player of Norman's caliber and experience. The Australian had played superb golf through the first 3 rounds, demonstrating the power and precision that had made him one of the game's dominant players throughout the 1980s and early 90s. His ball striking had been exemplary, and his aggressive style seemed perfectly suited to Augusta National's demands. Everything pointed toward Norman finally claiming the Masters title that had eluded him despite numerous close calls and heartbreaking near misses over the years. The final round began ominously for Norman when he bogeyed the first hole, immediately cutting his lead to 5 strokes. Faldo, meanwhile, birdied the second and third holes, and suddenly the margin was just 3 strokes. Norman's play grew increasingly tentative as the pressure mounted, with his usually aggressive approach giving way to conservative, defensive golf that seemed designed not to lose rather than to win. The turning point came at the par 3 12th hole, where Norman's tee shot found the water fronting the green. The resulting triple bogey 5 reduced his lead to just 1 stroke, and the momentum had shifted completely to Faldo. The Englishman, sensing opportunity, played with increasing confidence while Norman's body language reflected growing desperation and doubt. Faldo birdied the 13th hole to tie Norman, and when Norman bogeyed the 15th and 16th holes, the tournament was effectively over. Faldo's steady, patient golf stood in stark contrast to Norman's erratic play, and the 6-stroke deficit had transformed into a 5-stroke victory for the Englishman. Norman's final round 78 included 5 bogeys, 2 double bogeys, and the triple bogey at 12, a complete unraveling that shocked the golf world. Faldo's closing 67 showcased his methodical excellence, but even the Englishman seemed subdued by the manner of victory, offering consolation to Norman as they walked off the 18th green together in a moment that captured both the joy of triumph and the agony of defeat. The tournament purse of $3 million reflected the Masters' continued growth as one of golf's premier events, with Faldo earning $450,000 as champion. The field of 111 players was reduced to 43 after the cut at 6 over par, with Saturday rain creating softer conditions before Sunday's firmer, faster setup. Justin Leonard tied for 12th in a strong performance that presaged his later major championship success. Phil Mickelson tied for 21st in another solid Masters showing as he continued his pursuit of the green jacket that would finally come his way in 2004. Tiger Woods, playing as an amateur, tied for 41st in his Masters debut, a performance that hinted at the dominance he would soon bring to Augusta National. Nick Faldo's third Masters victory confirmed his status as one of the tournament's most successful champions, joining Jack Nicklaus, Arnold Palmer, and others in the exclusive club of multiple green jacket winners. His methodical, grinding style had proven effective at Augusta across 3 different victories spanning a decade, demonstrating remarkable consistency and excellence at golf's most iconic venue. The victory also represented a form of redemption for Faldo, whose career had been marked by criticism of his supposedly boring, mechanical approach. The third green jacket validated his methods and confirmed that major championships can be won through patient accumulation of small advantages rather than through spectacular shot-making or aggressive gambling. For Greg Norman, the 1996 Masters represented the cruelest blow in a career filled with major championship disappointments. The Australian had lost playoffs and finished runner-up at Augusta numerous times without ever claiming the title he desperately wanted. This collapse, however, eclipsed all previous disappointments in its totality and public nature. To hold such a commanding lead and lose so comprehensively devastated Norman and became the defining moment of his career. The psychological scars from this Sunday would follow Norman for the rest of his life. The 1996 Masters sparked extensive discussion about the mental aspects of championship golf. Norman's collapse demonstrated that major championships are won as much between the ears as through physical skill, that confidence can evaporate under pressure. The tournament highlighted the importance of experience in managing pressure situations, as Faldo's veteran composure contrasted sharply with Norman's visible distress. In the years following his third Masters victory, Faldo would continue competing before transitioning into television commentary and course design. But the 3 green jackets remained the defining achievements of his career. For Augusta, The 1996 Masters reinforced the tournament's reputation for producing high drama and memorable moments. The course's psychological demands, particularly on the back nine Sunday, create pressure that reveals character. Nick Faldo's third green jacket, won in such dramatic fashion, stands as one of the Masters' most compelling and controversial victories. The 1997 Masters tournament belongs entirely to Tiger Woods, whose record-shattering performance announced the arrival of golf's most dominant force in generations. Woods won with a score of 270, 18 under par, finishing 12 strokes ahead of Tom Kite in the largest margin of victory in Masters history. At 21 years old, Woods became the youngest Masters champion, surpassing Jack Nicklaus's record, and his wire-to-wire performance demonstrated a level of dominance that Augusta National had never before witnessed. The victory was Woods' first major championship as a professional, coming less than a year after he had turned professional following an illustrious amateur career. The week unfolded under ideal conditions, with the course playing firm and fast, yet Woods made Augusta National look defenseless through a combination of prodigious length, precise iron play, and clutch putting. Tiger Woods arrived at the 1997 Masters as professional golf's most hyped young player, with expectations that would have crushed lesser talents. His amateur record included 3 consecutive U.S. amateur titles, a feat accomplished only once before in the modern era. Since turning professional in August of 1996, Woods had already won multiple PGA Tour events and demonstrated that his game could compete with and defeat the world's best players. Yet nothing in his brief professional career had prepared the golf world for what would unfold over 4 days at Augusta National. His length off the tee gave him approaches from distances that other players could only dream about, and his aggressive style seemed custom designed for Augusta's risk-reward layout. The tournament began moderately for Woods with an opening round 70, a score that left him several strokes behind the leaders. But over the next 3 rounds, Woods played golf that seemed to come from a different era, dismantling the course with power and precision that left his competitors demoralized. His second round 66 moved him into contention, and his third round 65 gave him a 9-stroke lead entering Sunday. The final round 69, played with the outcome never in doubt, completed a performance that would be analyzed and celebrated for decades. The back 931 on Sunday encapsulated Woods' dominance, as he birdied the 13th, 14th, and 15th holes to remove any remaining doubt about the outcome. Tom Kite, the veteran player who finished second at 282, played solid golf throughout the week but stood no chance against Woods' onslaught. Colin Montgomery tied for third, 8 strokes further back, while the rest of the field was scattered across the leaderboard at various distances behind the champion. The margin of victory set a new Masters record, surpassing Jack Nicklaus's 9-stroke win in 1965. The 18 under par total also established a new tournament scoring record, breaking the marks set by Jack Nicklaus and Raymond Floyd. The tournament purse of $3.57 million reflected the Masters' continued commercial growth, with Woods earning $486,000 as champion, a record payout at the time. The field of 92 players was reduced to 43 after the cut at 6 over par, with perfect scoring conditions throughout the week allowing aggressive play without making the course defenseless. Nick Faldo, the defending champion, tied for 10th as he sought to become the first player to win consecutive Masters since he accomplished that feat in 1989 and 1990. Greg Norman, still recovering emotionally from his collapse the previous year, finished tied for 14th in a solid but unspectacular performance. Tiger Woods' Masters victory transcended golf and became a cultural phenomenon, as his multiracial background and charismatic personality appealed to audiences far beyond the traditional golf demographic. The victory was celebrated as a breakthrough moment for diversity in a sport that had historically been dominated by white players and had excluded African American players until relatively recently. Woods' embrace of his father Earl on the 18th green became one of sport's most iconic images. The green jacket ceremony took on added significance as Woods became the first person of African or Asian descent to claim the title. The 1997 Masters prompted immediate discussion about whether Augusta needed to be lengthened to remain a viable test for players of Woods' extraordinary length. His ability to overpower the course raised questions about whether future long-hitting players would render classic courses obsolete. In response, Augusta would eventually undergo lengthening projects designed to maintain the course's challenge. These changes, often referred to as tiger-proofing, would add hundreds of yards over subsequent years, though Woods would continue to dominate regardless. Tiger Woods' victory fundamentally altered expectations for his career and for professional golf. The manner of the win, combined with his youth and obvious talent, suggested that he would dominate major championships for years to come. Golf fans, media, and fellow professionals recognized they were witnessing the emergence of a generational talent whose combination of power, precision, and mental toughness seemed unmatched. The victory launched what would become known as the Tiger Era, a period of unprecedented dominance that would reshape professional golf. In the years following his first Masters victory, Woods would return to Augusta and win 4 more green jackets, establishing himself as the tournament's most successful champion in the modern era. But the 1997 triumph remained special for its historical significance and the way it announced Woods' arrival. For Augusta, the tournament represented both a challenge and an opportunity, as Woods' success brought unprecedented attention while also requiring course modifications. The 1997 Masters stands as one of the most important moments in golf history, the beginning of an era that would see the sport reach new heights of popularity while showcasing one of the greatest athletes ever to compete. The 1971 Masters was the 35th tournament at Augusta National, and it featured Charles Coody winning his first and only major championship with a score of 279, 9 under par. Coody finished 2 strokes ahead of Johnny Miller and Jack Nicklaus, claiming victory with a final round 70 that held firm despite Nicklaus's Sunday charge. The win represented the pinnacle of Coody's professional career and earned him permanent membership in the exclusive fraternity of Masters champions. Coody's final round 70 came under intense pressure as Nicklaus mounted a Sunday charge with a 68 that brought him within striking distance. The champion's ability to maintain composure and execute quality shots while aware that the Golden Bear was applying pressure demonstrated the mental toughness required to win major championships. Each shot carried enormous weight as the championship reached its conclusion. The victory included crucial birdies on holes 2, 13, and 15 during the final round, demonstrating Coody's ability to capitalize on scoring opportunities when they presented themselves. His play on the par 5s proved particularly important, as these holes offered chances to gain strokes on the field. The birdie on the difficult 18th hole sealed the championship and provided breathing room as other contenders finished their rounds. Jack Nicklaus missed a short birdie putt on the 18th hole that would have forced a playoff, continuing his pattern of near misses at Augusta between his victories. The Golden Bear shot a final round 68 to make a strong run at a 4th green jacket, but the birdie putt that would have tied Coody slipped past the hole. These agonizing close calls demonstrated that even the greatest champions experienced heartbreak at Augusta. Arnold Palmer tied for 11th place, still contending at age 41 and demonstrating the enduring quality of his game. Palmer's continued competitiveness into his 40s reflected both his natural talent and his deep understanding of Augusta's demands. While he could not capture a 5th green jacket, his presence near the leaderboard showed that experience and course knowledge remained valuable assets. Coody was known as a teaching professional whose win surprised many observers who did not expect him to prevail in such elite company. His background as someone who balanced competitive play with teaching duties made the victory particularly meaningful. as it validated that players who were not full-time touring professionals could still rise to championship heights when everything aligned properly. The cut came at 4 over par after 36 holes, with 88 players starting the tournament. Rain had softened the course midweek, making scoring somewhat easier than in years when Augusta played firm and fast. The conditions allowed players to attack pins more aggressively, leading to lower scores and more birdie opportunities throughout the field. The total purse reached $225,000, with Coody pocketing $25,000 as champion. Prize money continued its steady growth as professional golf's commercial appeal expanded and television revenues increased. The financial rewards for major championship success were becoming substantial, though still modest compared to the enormous purses that would come in later decades. Gary Player withdrew early from the tournament due to injury, denying fans the opportunity to see the 1961 and 68 champion compete for another green jacket. Player's absence demonstrated the physical demands of professional golf and the unfortunate reality that injuries could derail even the most talented players at inopportune moments. This Masters victory was Coody's only win in a major championship during his 24 career starts at Augusta, making it the defining achievement of his professional life. Like many single major winners, Coody would be remembered primarily for this one shining moment when he rose above the field and claimed golf's most coveted prize. The green jacket ensured his permanent place in Masters history. The 1971 championship demonstrated once again that Augusta National could produce surprising champions when favorites faltered or newcomers elevated their games at precisely the right moment. Coody's steady, patient approach proved effective against more celebrated competitors, showing that different paths to victory existed at the Masters. Television coverage brought the drama of Nicklaus's near-miss and Coody's clutch performance to growing audiences who appreciated the strategic and mental aspects of championship golf. The broadcast technology continued improving, allowing viewers to experience the tension and excitement of Masters Sunday more vividly than ever before. The tournament's traditions remained central to its identity, with the green jacket ceremony connecting Coody to past champions and welcoming him into an exclusive fraternity. These customs distinguished the Masters from other championships and created continuity that linked present champions to Augusta's rich history and founding vision. As the 1971 Masters concluded with Charles Coody as champion, the tournament had crowned another worthy winner who executed under pressure to claim the green jacket. Coody's victory demonstrated that patience, course management, and clutch putting could overcome more celebrated names when execution mattered most. The championship provided the signature moment of his career and ensured his place in golf's historical record. The 1971 Masters also demonstrated the importance of patience and course management at Augusta National. Coody's ability to play within himself and execute his game plan under pressure separated him from competitors who tried to do too much in crucial moments. Bobby Jones passed away in December 1971, just months after this Masters, ending an era. His death represented the loss of golf's greatest amateur and the Masters' founding father, though his legacy endured through the tournament's traditions. The 1972 Masters was the 36th tournament at Augusta National, and it featured Jack Nicklaus winning his fourth green jacket with a score of 286, 2 under par. Nicklaus finished 3 strokes clear of Bruce Crampton and Bobby Mitchell, claiming victory with a performance that demonstrated his ability to prevail even when conditions made scoring difficult. The win tied Nicklaus with Arnold Palmer for the most Masters titles at that point, with each possessing 4 green jackets. Nicklaus's championship included a spectacular moving day on Saturday when he eagled the 8th hole and birdied holes 13 through 15. This crucial stretch of excellent golf during the third round built a lead that he would protect through a grinding final round. The ability to produce extraordinary scoring when it mattered most separated champions like Nicklaus from merely talented competitors. The final round 74 reflected challenging conditions on Sunday afternoon, with wind making club selection difficult and Augusta's firm greens rejecting poorly executed approach shots. Nicklaus managed the difficult conditions effectively, accepting pars when birdies proved too risky and avoiding the big mistakes that could have opened the door for challengers. This patient, strategic approach to tough conditions demonstrated championship maturity. Arnold Palmer missed the cut for just the third time in his distinguished Masters career, marking a significant moment in his Augusta story. Palmer's failure to advance to the weekend highlighted the inevitable decline that even the greatest champions face as they age. While he would continue competing at Augusta for many more years, missing cuts would become more frequent as his competitive edge dulled. Tom Weiskopf shot 66 on Saturday during moving day, recording his first sub-70 round at Augusta National. Weiskopf's breakthrough performance demonstrated his growing comfort with the course's demands, though he would ultimately become one of the tournament's most famous nearly men, finishing runner-up 4 times without ever claiming a green jacket. His talent was undeniable, but Augusta would prove frustratingly elusive. The championship gave Nicklaus 4 Masters titles, tying him with Palmer for the most victories at that point in tournament history. This milestone placed both players in rarefied company and prompted discussions about who was Augusta's greatest champion. While Palmer had won his 4 titles in a shorter time span, Nicklaus's youth suggested more green jackets were likely in his future. 92 players started the tournament, with the cut line set at 5 over par after 36 holes. The field quality remained exceptionally high, with the Masters attracting the world's best players who all coveted the prestige and tradition that came with winning at Augusta. Competition for positions near the top of the leaderboard was intense throughout the week. The total purse reached $250,000, with Nicklaus earning $25,000 as champion. Prize money continued growing steadily as professional golf's commercial appeal expanded, though the amounts remained modest compared to what would come in the 1980s and beyond. The financial rewards were increasing but still represented only part of what made winning the Masters valuable. Lee Trevino made his Masters debut in 1972 and missed the cut, beginning what would become a complicated relationship between the talented Mexican-American player and Augusta National. Trevino's game, built on a low, controlled fade, did not suit Augusta's demands for high, soft approach shots. He would never win a green jacket despite his excellence at other major championships. Nicklaus's power on the par 5s again proved decisive in separating him from the field. His ability to reach these holes in 2 shots created eagle and birdie opportunities that shorter hitters could not match. As equipment continued improving and players grew stronger, length off the tee was becoming increasingly important at Augusta and in golf generally. The 1972 Masters demonstrated that Nicklaus could win at Augusta under various conditions and with different scoring requirements. Whether posting record low totals or grinding out victories when par proved difficult, the Golden Bear possessed the complete game and mental strength to prevail. This versatility made him the era's most dangerous major championship competitor. Television coverage brought Nicklaus's victory to audiences who appreciated witnessing one of golf's greatest champions add to his legacy. The broadcast technology and production values continued improving, allowing networks to present the Masters more effectively and build the tournament's cultural significance beyond traditional golf circles. The tournament's traditions remained central to its appeal, with the green jacket ceremony connecting Nicklaus to his previous Augusta victories while honoring his latest achievement. These customs created continuity that distinguished the Masters from other championships and reinforced its status as golf's most tradition-rich event. Bobby Jones, though his health continued declining, remained symbolically important to the tournament's identity and connection to its founding vision. His presence, even from a wheelchair, ensured that the Masters maintained its character and respected the principles that had guided its creation and early development. As the 1972 Masters concluded with Jack Nicklaus tying Arnold Palmer's record of 4 green jackets, the tournament had witnessed another chapter in the Golden Bear's remarkable Augusta career. Nicklaus's 4th victory at age 32 suggested that more were likely to come, and his pursuit of additional titles would become a central Masters narrative for the next decade and beyond. The 1973 Masters was the 37th tournament at Augusta National, and it featured Tommy Aaron winning with a score of 283, 5 under par. Aaron finished 1 shot better than J.C. Snead and Jim Jamieson, claiming victory with a wire-to-wire performance that demonstrated consistent excellence throughout all 4 rounds. The win represented Aaron's only major championship victory in his 24 career Masters appearances, making it the defining achievement of his professional life. Aaron's wire-to-wire victory included a steady final round 72 that maintained his lead despite pressure from challengers. His ability to protect advantages and execute quality shots when the championship hung in the balance demonstrated the mental toughness required to win major championships. Each shot carried enormous weight as Sunday afternoon progressed and the margin remained slim. The champion birdied holes 2 and 13 during the final round while successfully avoiding disasters on the treacherous Amen corner stretch where many championships were won or lost. His course management and strategic decision-making proved crucial, as he chose when to attack pins and when to play conservatively towards safe portions of greens. This balance between aggression and caution characterized successful Masters golf. Jack Nicklaus entered the tournament seeking his 3rd consecutive Masters victory, which would have been unprecedented in the event's history. However, Nicklaus tied for 4th after shooting 73 on Sunday, ending his pursuit of the historic three-peat. Even the Golden Bear could not sustain championship-level golf indefinitely at Augusta, though he remained a dangerous contender year after year. Arnold Palmer shot a career-low Masters round of 68 during the tournament, demonstrating that his skills remained sharp even as consistent contention became more difficult. Palmer's excellent round showed that experience and course knowledge could still produce moments of brilliance, even if sustaining such excellence over 72 holes proved increasingly challenging as he aged. Tommy Aaron was the son of a club professional and had followed a solid amateur career before turning professional. His background in golf's traditions and fundamentals served him well at Augusta, where understanding the game's subtleties and demands often mattered as much as raw talent. Aaron's victory validated the importance of complete games built on sound fundamentals. The cut came at 4 over par after 36 holes, with 95 players starting the tournament. The field included the world's best players, all seeking the prestige and tradition that accompanied winning a green jacket. The competitive depth meant that even excellent golf did not guarantee high finishes, as many talented players competed for limited positions near the top of the leaderboard. The total purse reached $250,000, with Aaron earning $25,000 as champion. Prize money continued its steady growth, though the amounts remained modest compared to the explosion in purses that would come in the 1980s and beyond. The financial rewards were improving but represented only part of what made Masters victories valuable. Gary Player finished tied for 10th place, demonstrating the continued competitiveness of the 1961 champion more than a decade after his first green jacket. Player's sustained excellence at Augusta reflected his dedication to fitness, practice, and course study. His ability to contend at the Masters across multiple decades made him one of the tournament's most respected and accomplished champions. Aaron's victory as a wire-to-wire winner placed him among the champions who led from start to finish, a rare achievement that required sustained excellence and the ability to handle the pressure of protecting leads. Wire-to-wire victories were uncommon at Augusta due to the course's challenges and the strength of the fields, making Aaron's accomplishment particularly impressive. The 1973 Masters marked Aaron's only major championship victory despite a long and successful professional career. Like many single major winners, he would be remembered primarily for this one shining moment when everything aligned perfectly and he claimed golf's most coveted prize. The green jacket ensured his permanent place in golf history. Television coverage brought Aaron's wire-to-wire performance to audiences who appreciated the strategic and mental demands of protecting leads at Augusta National. The broadcast technology continued improving, with better camera work and more sophisticated production values helping viewers understand and appreciate the golf being played. The tournament's traditions remained central to its identity and appeal, with the green jacket ceremony welcoming Aaron into the exclusive fraternity of Masters champions. These customs created continuity that connected present champions to Augusta's rich history and honored the vision that Bobby Jones and Clifford Roberts had established decades earlier. Bobby Jones's health continued declining, and his involvement in tournament operations was increasingly limited. Nevertheless, his symbolic importance remained enormous, as he represented the founding vision and amateur ideals that distinguished the Masters from purely commercial sporting events. Jones's presence, even in diminished capacity, ensured the tournament maintained its character. As the 1973 Masters concluded with Tommy Aaron as wire-to-wire champion, the tournament had crowned another worthy winner who executed under pressure throughout all 4 rounds. Aaron's consistent excellence demonstrated that different paths to victory existed at Augusta, and that patient, steady golf could prevail over more spectacular but inconsistent play. The championship provided the defining moment of his career and secured his place in Masters lore. The 1974 Masters was the 38th tournament at Augusta National, and it featured Gary Player winning his second green jacket with a score of 278. 10 under par. Player finished 2 strokes ahead of Dave Stockton and Tom Weiskopf, claiming victory with an iconic final round 64 that ranks among the most memorable closing rounds in Masters history. The win came after Player overcame early struggles in the final round to reel in the leaders with spectacular back nine golf. Player's Sunday charge became legendary in Masters lore, particularly his sand save for birdie on the 15th hole that sparked his final round surge. The bunker shot from greenside sand landed softly and rolled into the cup for an unlikely birdie that electrified the gallery and gave Player momentum for the closing holes. This single shot became one of Augusta's most replayed and celebrated moments. The final round 64 represented one of the finest pressure performances in major championship history, as Player overcame a front nine stumble to produce spectacular golf when it mattered most. His back nine excellence demonstrated the ability to maintain focus and execute quality shots even after early mistakes. This resilience separated champions from players who let early errors derail their entire rounds. Jack Nicklaus led after 3 rounds but shot 75 in windy Sunday conditions to tie for 4th place. The Golden Bear's struggles demonstrated that even the greatest champions could falter when conditions were difficult and the pressure intense. Nicklaus's near miss represented another frustrating close call in his pursuit of additional green jackets between his victories. Player later called this his best ever back nine pressure performance, validating the significance of what he accomplished during those crucial final holes. His ability to produce championship-caliber golf precisely when needed most separated him from talented players who could not elevate their games in decisive moments. The performance exemplified clutch golf at its finest. The field consisted of 96 players, with the cut set at 5 over par after 36 holes. Gusty wind conditions made scoring challenging throughout the week, particularly during the final round when players had to control trajectory and flight the ball effectively. The conditions tested complete games and rewarded players who could adapt to changing circumstances. The total purse reached $305,000, with Player earning $30,000 as champion. Prize money was growing more substantially as professional golf's commercial appeal expanded and television revenues increased. The financial rewards for major championship success were becoming significant, though still modest compared to the enormous purses that would come in future decades. Arnold Palmer tied for 14th place at age 44, demonstrating continued competitiveness even as his chances of winning additional Masters diminished. Palmer's presence near the middle of the leaderboard showed that experience and course knowledge remained valuable, though converting these advantages into victories proved increasingly difficult as younger, powerful players dominated. Tom Watson made his Masters debut in 1974, finishing tied for 44th place. Watson's first appearance marked the arrival of a player who would become one of the tournament's great champions in the late 1970s and early 1980s. His unremarkable debut gave no indication of the success that would follow. Gary Player became the first non-American player to win multiple green jackets, adding the second title to his 1961 victory. The achievement demonstrated that international players could succeed at Augusta repeatedly, not just as one-time breakthrough winners. Players' success helped continue the internationalization of the Masters that had begun with his first victory. The 1974 championship showcased Player's complete game, particularly his exceptional bunker play and putting under pressure. His short game skills around Augusta's demanding green complexes proved decisive, as he converted difficult up and downs into pars and occasionally birdies. These skills separated great players from good ones at the Masters. Television coverage captured Player's emotional celebration and dramatic finish, bringing the excitement to audiences who appreciated witnessing one of golf's great performances. The broadcast quality continued improving, with better production values and more comprehensive coverage helping viewers experience the drama and tension of Masters Sunday. The tournament's international profile grew with Player's victory, as golf fans worldwide celebrated the South African champion's achievement. His success helped expand the Masters' reach beyond American audiences and demonstrated that the tournament attracted and rewarded the world's finest players regardless of nationality. Player's victory also demonstrated the value of persistence and patience at Augusta National. His multiple appearances at the Masters, dating back to his 1957 debut, had taught him the course's demands and subtleties. This accumulated knowledge proved crucial in navigating pressure situations and executing shots when championships hung in the balance. As the 1974 Masters concluded with Gary Player's dramatic comeback victory, the tournament had witnessed one of its most memorable finishes. Player's back nine brilliance and clutch sand save on 15 would be recounted for generations, joining other famous Masters moments in the tournament's rich history. The win demonstrated that great champions could return to claim additional green jackets years after their first victories. The victory also reinforced Player's status among the game's all-time greats, with multiple major championships across different decades validating his sustained excellence. His 3 green jackets placed him in exclusive company with only a few other players who had won Augusta 3 or more times. The 1975 Masters was the 39th tournament at Augusta National, and it featured Jack Nicklaus winning his 5th green jacket with a score of 276, 12 under par. Nicklaus finished one stroke past Johnny Miller and Tom Weiskopf in one of the most dramatic finishes in tournament history, with the championship decided by clutch putting on the final holes. At age 35, Nicklaus passed Arnold Palmer to claim the outright record for most Masters victories. Nicklaus's final round 68 included crucial birdies on holes 16 and 17 that proved decisive in securing the victory. The birdie on the 16th came from a 40-foot putt that became one of Augusta's most iconic shots, captured by television cameras and replayed countless times. The ball's slow roll toward the hole, followed by Nicklaus's characteristic club raise, created one of golf's most enduring images. The dramatic putt on 16 gave Nicklaus momentum heading to the difficult 17th hole, where he followed with another birdie to take the lead. His ability to produce quality shots under maximum pressure separated him from challengers who could not match his clutch performances. These back-to-back birdies demonstrated why Nicklaus was golf's most dangerous closer. Johnny Miller entered Sunday with a two-stroke lead but could not hold off Nicklaus's late charge despite shooting a final round 66. Miller's excellent golf was not quite enough to withstand the Golden Bear's brilliance, as Nicklaus produced the crucial shots when they mattered most. Miller's bogey on the 15th hole proved costly in the tight finish. Tom Weiskopf's late push also came up one shot short, extending his frustrating pattern of near misses at Augusta. Weiskopf would finish runner-up at the Masters 4 times during his career without ever claiming a green jacket, making him one of the tournament's most talented and unfortunate nearly men. His skills were undeniable, but Augusta proved cruelly elusive. At age 35, Nicklaus passed Palmer's 4 Masters victories to stand alone with 5 green jackets. The achievement placed Nicklaus atop the Masters all-time champions list and validated his dominance at Augusta. Palmer remained beloved as the king, but Nicklaus had proven himself Augusta's greatest champion through sustained excellence and multiple victories. The cut came at 4 over par after 36 holes, with 98 players starting the tournament. The field quality remained exceptionally high, as the Masters attracted the world's best players who all coveted the prestige and tradition that accompanied winning at Augusta. Competition throughout the field was intense, with many talented players vying for limited positions near the leaderboard's top. The total purse reached $320,000, with Nicklaus earning $30,000 as champion. Prize money continued growing as professional golf's commercial appeal expanded, though amounts remained modest compared to the explosive growth that would come in the 1980s and beyond when television contracts and sponsor support increased dramatically. Raymond Floyd finished 4th, solidifying his status as a consistent contender at major championships. Floyd's strong performance demonstrated the depth of talent in professional golf during the mid-1970s, with multiple players capable of winning any given major championship when their games peaked at the right moment. Gene Sarazen, the 1935 champion whose double eagle had become legendary, played his final Masters at age 73. Sarazen's participation 4 decades after his famous shot created a poignant connection between the tournament's early history and its modern era. His presence reminded everyone of Augusta's rich traditions and the legends who had built the Masters into golf's premier event. Nicklaus's 40-foot putt on 16 became instant Masters lore, joining other famous shots in the tournament's collection of memorable moments. The image of the ball slowly tracking toward the hole while Nicklaus watched intently, then his celebration as it dropped, captured the drama and emotion that made the Masters special. Television's ability to preserve and replay such moments helped build the tournament's mystique. The 1975 championship demonstrated Nicklaus's continued dominance at Augusta National into his mid-30s. While some champions faded as they aged, the Golden Bear maintained his ability to contend and win at the Masters through superior course knowledge, strategic intelligence, and clutch performances when championships hung in the balance. Television coverage brought the dramatic finish to record audiences who appreciated witnessing one of golf's great champions add to his legacy with such a memorable performance. The broadcast quality and production values continued improving, with better camera angles and replay technology helping viewers experience the tournament's excitement and tension. The tournament's traditions remained central to its appeal and identity, with the green jacket ceremony honoring Nicklaus's 5th victory while connecting him to his previous Augusta triumphs. These customs created continuity that distinguished the Masters from other championships and reinforced its status as golf's most tradition-rich and prestigious event. As the 1975 Masters concluded with Jack Nicklaus's dramatic victory and record 5th green jacket, the tournament had witnessed one of its most memorable finishes. The 40-foot putt on 16 would be replayed for generations, symbolizing Nicklaus's clutch excellence and Augusta's capacity for creating unforgettable moments. The Golden Bear had established himself definitively as the Masters' greatest champion. Bobby Jones, though confined to a wheelchair and in declining health, attended the ceremony and witnessed Nicklaus surpass Palmer's record. Jones's presence honored both champions while connecting the tournament's present achievements to its founding vision and rich history. The 1976 Masters was the 40th tournament at Augusta National, and it featured Raymond Floyd winning with a score of 271, 17 under par. Floyd's total tied Jack Nicklaus's tournament scoring record from 1965, and his 9-shot margin of victory over Ben Crenshaw and Nicklaus represented one of the largest winning margins in Masters history. The dominant wire-to-wire performance established Floyd as one of the era's premier champions. Floyd's 17 under total tied the lowest 72-hole score in Masters history to that point, matching Nicklaus's 1965 record. The performance demonstrated what was possible when a great player hit peak form at Augusta National, combining power, precision, and hot putting to dismantle the course's challenges. Such commanding performances were rare treasures that showcased golf at its absolute highest level. The wire-to-wire victory meant Floyd led or co-led after every round, demonstrating sustained excellence and the ability to handle pressure throughout all 4 days. Leading major championships created unique mental challenges, as expectations and the weight of protecting advantages could cause players to tighten and play cautiously. Floyd thrived under these conditions, playing aggressive, confident golf from start to finish. Floyd's opening round 65 set the tone for his dominant week, establishing a lead he would never relinquish. The fast start gave him confidence and put pressure on competitors who found themselves chasing from the beginning. Starting well at Augusta proved crucial, as making up ground on the leaders during subsequent rounds required risk-taking that could backfire. The final round 66 included birdies on the final 3 holes, demonstrating Floyd's ability to maintain aggressive, attacking golf even with a comfortable lead. Rather than playing conservatively to protect his advantage, Floyd continued making birdies and extending his margin. This mentality reflected supreme confidence and the killer instinct that separated dominant champions from those who merely held on to win. Jack Nicklaus sought his 6th green jacket but faltered with a final round 69 that left him tied for second, 9 shots behind Floyd. The Golden Bear's inability to contend with Floyd's excellence demonstrated that even the greatest champions could be overwhelmed when opponents produced such dominant performances. Nicklaus remained dangerous but could not match Floyd's sustained brilliance. Ben Crenshaw tied Nicklaus for second place in his continued pursuit of a first Masters victory. Crenshaw's runner-up finish demonstrated his growing comfort at Augusta and suggested that a green jacket might be in his future. His smooth putting stroke and creative short game suited the course's demands, though converting contention into victories would require additional experience and perhaps some fortune. 106 players started the tournament, with the cut set at 5 over par after 36 holes. Favorable weather conditions contributed to the low scoring throughout the field, as players could attack pins and accumulate birdies more readily than when Augusta played firm and fast. The conditions allowed Floyd to post his record-tying total. The total purse reached $378,200, with Floyd earning a record $40,000 as champion. Prize money was growing substantially as professional golf's commercial appeal expanded and television revenues increased dramatically. The financial rewards for major championship success were becoming significant. Hale Irwin tied for 14th place in strong form, demonstrating the depth of talent in professional golf during the mid-1970s. Multiple players possessed the skills to win major championships, and competition for positions near the top of leaderboards was intense. Floyd's dominance was even more impressive given the quality of players he defeated. Floyd's blowout margin of 9 shots was the second largest in Masters history at that point, surpassed only by Nicklaus's 9-shot victory in 1965. Such commanding victories were rare in major championship golf, where fields were strong and courses challenging enough that leads typically remained contested until the final holes. Floyd's dominance testified to his exceptional play. The 1976 performance showcased Floyd's iron play, which dismantled Augusta's demanding greens throughout the week. His ability to control distance precisely and attack pins from various angles gave him birdie opportunities that he converted with hot putting. When ball striking and putting both peaked simultaneously, results like Floyd's 17-under total became possible. Television coverage captured Floyd's dominant performance and brought it to audiences who appreciated witnessing one of golf's great individual displays. The broadcast quality continued improving with better production values and more comprehensive coverage, helping viewers understand and appreciate the excellence they were witnessing. The tournament's 40th edition prompted reflection on how far the Masters had come since its 1934 founding. What began as Bobby Jones's invitational gathering had evolved into golf's premier championship, with traditions and prestige that made it the most coveted title in the sport. The green jacket had become one of sport's most recognizable symbols. Floyd's victory demonstrated that power golf combined with precision could overwhelm Augusta National when executed at the highest level. His length off the tee created shorter approaches to greens, making birdie opportunities more plentiful. As equipment continued improving and players grew stronger, power was becoming increasingly important at Augusta and throughout golf. As the 1976 Masters concluded with Raymond Floyd's record-tying, dominant performance, the tournament had witnessed one of its greatest individual displays. The 17-under total and 9-shot margin established new standards for excellence at Augusta and demonstrated what peak performance looked like on golf's grandest stage. Floyd had joined the elite group of Masters champions and proven himself one of the era's finest players. The 1977 Masters was the 41st tournament at Augusta National, and it featured Tom Watson winning his first green jacket with a score of 276, 12 under par. Watson finished 2 strokes ahead of Jack Nicklaus and Tom Kite, claiming victory after a dramatic final round duel with Nicklaus that showcased 2 of golf's finest players at the peak of their powers. The win began Watson's eventual collection of 2 Masters titles and established him as one of the era's dominant champions. Watson birdied the 17th hole in the final round to seal the victory after Nicklaus had briefly taken the lead on the back 9. The crucial birdie demonstrated Watson's ability to produce quality shots under maximum pressure when championships hung in the balance. His execution on one of Augusta's most demanding holes separated him from challengers who could not deliver in decisive moments. The back 9 birdie run on holes 13 through 15 propelled Watson's Sunday charge and gave him momentum heading into the difficult closing stretch. His aggressive play on these scoring opportunities demonstrated the attacking mentality that characterized his game and made him such a dangerous competitor. Watson's willingness to take on risky shots often produced spectacular results. Jack Nicklaus sought a record 6th green jacket and shot 69 in the final round, briefly taking the lead with excellent Sunday golf. The Golden Bear's strong finish demonstrated his continued ability to contend at Augusta into his late 30s, though he could not quite match Watson's closing brilliance. Nicklaus's missed par putt on the 17th hole proved costly in the tight finish. Tom Kite finished tied with Nicklaus for second place, beginning what would become a pattern of near misses at Augusta. Kite would contend frequently at the Masters throughout his career but never claim a green jacket, making him one of the tournament's most accomplished players never to win. His consistent excellence demonstrated his skills, though Augusta victories remained frustratingly elusive. Watson's debut victory at Augusta began his remarkable run of success at major championships during the late 1970s and early 1980s. The win validated his status as golf's next great champion and demonstrated that the transition from Nicklaus's dominance to the next generation was accelerating. Watson's complete game made him formidable at all types of courses. The cut came at 5 over par after 36 holes, with 102 players starting the tournament. Soft greens aided low scoring throughout the week, allowing players to attack pins more aggressively than when Augusta played firm and fast. The conditions contributed to multiple players contending deep into the final round. The total purse reached $325,000, with Watson earning $40,000 as champion. Prize money continued growing as professional golf's commercial appeal expanded and television revenues increased. The financial rewards were becoming substantial, making professional golf an increasingly attractive and lucrative career. Arnold Palmer tied for 13th place in his 23rd consecutive Masters appearance, demonstrating continued competitiveness even as his chances of winning a 5th green jacket diminished. Palmer's sustained presence at Augusta testified to his enduring love for the tournament and his remarkable longevity as a competitive player. Gary Player finished tied for 8th place, still competitive at age 41 and demonstrating the sustained excellence that would eventually bring him a 3rd green jacket in 1978. Player's dedication to fitness and practice allowed him to compete effectively against younger players, and his course knowledge at Augusta remained a significant advantage. Watson's victory marked the emergence of a new dominant force in professional golf who would challenge Nicklaus throughout the late 1970s. Their rivalry lacked the emotional intensity of the Palmer-Nicklaus confrontations but featured exceptional golf from two great champions. Watson's success accelerated the generational transition at the top of the sport. Television coverage captured the Watson-Nicklaus duel and brought it to audiences who appreciated witnessing two great champions competing at the highest level. The broadcast quality continued improving with better camera work and production values, helping viewers experience the drama and tension of major championship golf. The tournament's traditions remained central to its appeal, with the Green Jacket ceremony welcoming Watson into the exclusive fraternity of Masters champions. These customs connected present champions to Augusta's rich history and honored the vision that Bobby Jones had established when creating the tournament. Watson's aggressive playing style and competitive intensity made him popular with galleries who appreciated his willingness to attack courses and take on difficult shots. His emotional displays on the course contrasted with some players' stoic demeanors and helped fans connect with his competitive struggles and triumphs. As the 1977 Masters concluded with Tom Watson's first green jacket, the tournament had crowned a champion who would define the next era of professional golf. Watson's victory over Nicklaus symbolized the changing of the guard while demonstrating that great champions could still emerge to challenge the established stars. The dramatic finish added another memorable chapter to Masters history. The 1977 championship also reflected the high quality of professional golf during this era, with multiple talented players competing for major titles. Watson's victory over Nicklaus and Kite demonstrated that he could beat the best when it mattered most, validating his status as golf's next great champion. The tournament continued evolving while maintaining its essential character and traditions, balancing respect for history with necessary adaptations for television and growing audiences worldwide. The 1978 Masters was the 42nd tournament at Augusta National, and it featured Gary Player winning his third green jacket with a score of 277, 11 under par. Player finished one stroke ahead of Rod Funseth, Hubert Green, and Tom Watson in a tight finish that saw the 42-year-old South African overcome a three-shot deficit entering the final round. The victory made Player the oldest Masters champion to that point and demonstrated that experience and course knowledge could overcome youthful athleticism. Players' final round 64 overcame the three-shot deficit through spectacular Sunday golf that ranks among the tournament's most memorable closing rounds. His ability to produce such excellent scoring under championship pressure in his 40s demonstrated the mental toughness and competitive fire that had made him one of golf's all-time greats. The performance showed that great champions could still win majors well into their 40s. The iconic stretch of 5 consecutive birdies on holes 10 through 14 in windy conditions sparked players' comeback and electrified the Augusta galleries. Making 5 straight birdies anytime was impressive, but doing so on Sunday at the Masters while chasing the lead represented golf at its absolute finest. Each successive birdie increased both the pressure and the momentum. At 42 years old, Player became the oldest winner in Masters history to that point, surpassing previous age records and demonstrating that Augusta's demands could be met by experienced players who understood the course's subtleties. His victory challenged assumptions about age in golf, showing that wisdom and course knowledge could compensate for any marginal loss of physical skills. Player walked off the 18th green in tears, calling this his greatest pressure win and the most meaningful victory of his distinguished career. The emotional display reflected the significance he placed on overcoming age-related doubts and proving he could still compete with and defeat golf's best players. His tears moved galleries and television audiences worldwide. The cut came at 4 over par after 36 holes, with 88 players starting the tournament. Gusty wind conditions made Sunday the toughest round of the week, testing every player's ability to control trajectory and flight the ball effectively. Player's 5 birdie stretch in these conditions made his performance even more remarkable. The total purse reached $350,000, with Player earning $50,000 as champion. Prize money continued growing substantially as professional golf's commercial appeal expanded and television revenues increased. The financial rewards for major championship success were becoming significant and life-changing for many players. Jack Nicklaus tied for 6th place after a third-round 73 stumble that dropped him from contention for a record 6th green jacket. The Golden Bear remained dangerous at Augusta but could not quite produce the sustained excellence needed to add another title. His continued competitiveness demonstrated his enduring skills even as younger players emerged. Tom Watson defended his title but shot 75 on Sunday to tie for 10th place, unable to match the excellence that had brought him the 1977 championship. Watson's struggles demonstrated the difficulty of successfully defending at Augusta, where course conditions and competition made consecutive victories extraordinarily challenging. Player's 3 Masters titles, won in 1961, 1974, and now 1978, placed him among the tournament's elite multiple champions. His victories spanning 17 years demonstrated sustained excellence at Augusta and the ability to adapt his game as both he and the course evolved. Few players maintained such high-level performance across nearly 2 decades. The 1978 victory demonstrated Player's complete game, particularly his exceptional iron play and putting under pressure. His ability to attack pins in windy conditions and make crucial putts when needed separated him from competitors who struggled with Augusta's demands. When all aspects of his game clicked simultaneously, Player remained nearly unbeatable. Television coverage captured Player's emotional victory walk in tears, creating images that would be replayed for generations. The broadcast quality allowed viewers to experience the drama and emotion of major championship golf more vividly than ever before, helping build the Masters' cultural significance beyond traditional golf circles. Player's dedication to fitness and practice allowed him to compete effectively against younger players despite being in his 40s. His disciplined approach to training, diet, and preparation set standards that other players would follow. The victory validated his methods and demonstrated that age need not be an insurmountable barrier. The tournament's international profile grew with Player's 3rd victory, as golf fans worldwide celebrated the South African champion's remarkable achievement. His success helped expand the Masters' reach and demonstrated that the tournament attracted and rewarded the world's finest players regardless of age or nationality. As the 1978 Masters concluded with Gary Player's emotional third victory, the tournament had witnessed one of its most inspiring performances. Players' comeback from 3 shots back with a final round 64 at age 42 demonstrated that great champions could continue winning majors well into their 40s. His tears on the 18th green captured the significance of the achievement and created one of the Masters' most enduring emotional moments. The tournament's continued growth in prestige and global reach reflected both the quality of champions like Player and the compelling narratives that Augusta produced year after year. Each memorable performance added to the Masters' mystique and reinforced its status as golf's premier championship. The 1979 Masters was the 43rd tournament at Augusta National, and it featured Fuzzy Zoeller winning the first sudden death playoff in Masters history. Zoeller defeated Ed Snead and Tom Watson on the second extra hole after all 3 finished regulation at 280, 8 under par. The dramatic playoff marked the end of the 18-hole playoff format and created immediate television drama that would characterize future Masters finishes. Zoeller birdied the 11th hole in the playoff for his only major championship victory, finishing what had been a remarkable week for a Masters rookie. His relaxed demeanor and apparent comfort under pressure belied the intensity of the situation, as he needed to execute quality shots against 2 experienced champions to claim the green jacket. The victory announced Zoeller as a significant talent in professional golf. The playoff became necessary after all 3 leaders bogeyed the 17th hole in regulation, creating a dramatic collapse that left the championship hanging in the balance. Ed Snead had led by 3 strokes entering the final 3 holes but made bogeys on 16, 17, and 18 to fall back into the tie. His inability to close out the victory represented one of the Masters' most painful near misses. Tom Watson missed a 2.5-foot par putt on the first playoff hole at the 10th, allowing both Zoeller and Snead to remain alive. The missed short putt demonstrated that even the best players could falter under playoff pressure, and that no advantage was safe until the final putt dropped. Watson's near miss extended the drama and gave Zoeller his eventual opportunity. Fuzzy Zoeller became the first rookie Masters winner since Gene Sarazen in 1935, demonstrating that Augusta could still be conquered by first-time participants who combined talent with fortunate timing. His achievement showed that course knowledge, while valuable, was not absolutely essential if a player possessed the skills and temperament to handle major championship pressure. The cut came at 6 over par after 36 holes, with 95 players starting the tournament. Firm conditions tested approaches and rewarded precise distance control throughout the field. The setup created championship golf that identified worthy contenders through comprehensive examination rather than narrow tests of single skills. The total purse reached $540,000, with Zoeller earning $60,000 in the expanded payout structure. Prize money had grown substantially as professional golf's commercial appeal exploded and television revenues increased dramatically. The financial rewards for major championship success were becoming life-changing. Jack Nicklaus finished tied for 12th place at age 39, demonstrating continued competitiveness even as his chances of additional green jackets diminished slightly with each passing year. The Golden Bear remained dangerous at Augusta but needed everything to align perfectly to overcome younger, powerful competitors who could overpower the course. Hale Irwin tied for 4th place with precise ball striking that suited Augusta's demands for accuracy and strategic thinking. Irwin's consistent contention at major championships throughout the 1970s validated his status among the era's finest players, though Masters victories eluded him despite multiple strong performances. The playoff format expansion to sudden death created more immediate drama for television audiences and eliminated the need for players to return the following day for 18-hole playoffs. The change reflected the Masters' willingness to adapt traditions when improvements served both the tournament and its growing television audience. Single-hole playoffs created memorable moments and decisive conclusions. The 1979 championship demonstrated Augusta National's capacity for producing dramatic finishes and unexpected champions. Snead's collapse and Zoller's rookie triumph created compelling narratives that would be recounted for decades. The playoff format added another layer of drama to an already exciting championship. Television coverage captured every moment of the playoff drama, bringing it to audiences who experienced the tension and excitement of sudden death golf. The broadcast quality and production values continued improving, with replay technology and multiple camera angles helping viewers appreciate the significance of each shot. Zoller's relaxed, jovial demeanor throughout the pressure-packed playoff endeared him to galleries and television audiences who appreciated his apparent calm amid championship stress. His willingness to smile and wave to crowds even during crucial moments suggested either supreme confidence or an ability to compartmentalize pressure that served him well. The tournament's traditions remained central to its appeal, with the green jacket ceremony welcoming the first playoff winner into the exclusive fraternity of Masters champions. The ceremony connected Zoller to past champions while honoring his achievement under the new playoff format. As the 1979 Masters concluded with Fuzzy Zoller's playoff victory, the tournament had witnessed the first sudden death finish in its history. The dramatic conclusion, featuring Snead's collapse and Zoller's rookie triumph, added another memorable chapter to Masters lore. The new playoff format would create similar drama in future years, producing instant classics that defined the tournament's appeal. The 1979 championship reflected the competitive balance in professional golf, with multiple players possessing the skills to win major championships. Zoller's rookie triumph demonstrated that fresh faces could still emerge to claim green jackets even as established stars like Nicklaus and Watson continued dominating. The tournament's growing television audience and commercial appeal reflected golf's explosion in popularity during the late 1970s, with the Masters leading this growth through its traditions, drama, and compelling champions. The 1980 Masters was the 44th tournament at Augusta National, and it featured Seve Ballesteros winning with a score of 275, 13 under par. The 23-year-old Spaniard finished 4 shots clear of Gibby Gilbert and Jack Nicklaus, claiming victory with a dominant wire-to-wire performance that announced his arrival as one of golf's brightest young stars. Ballesteros became the youngest winner since Nicklaus in 1963 and brought a new international flair to Augusta. Ballesteros birdied 3 of the final 4 holes on Sunday for a commanding finish that turned a close competition into a blowout victory. His ability to produce exceptional golf precisely when needed most demonstrated the killer instinct that would characterize his career. The late birdie surge crushed any remaining challenger hopes and established Ballesteros as a dominant closer. At 23 years old, the Spaniard became the youngest Masters champion since Nicklaus captured his first green jacket at the same age in 1963. Ballesteros' youth suggested many more opportunities to add Masters titles and major championships, and his creative shot-making promised to provide excitement and drama for years to come at Augusta and elsewhere. The wire-to-wire victory after an opening 66 demonstrated Ballesteros' ability to handle pressure from the front throughout all 4 rounds. Leading major championships created unique mental challenges, but Ballesteros thrived in such situations, playing aggressive, confident golf from start to finish. His fearless approach to the game made him dangerous when holding advantages. Ballesteros' imaginative short game saved pars around Amen Corner throughout the week, demonstrating the creativity and touch that made him one of golf's most exciting players. His ability to recover from difficult positions with spectacular chips and bunker shots separated him from competitors who struggled when missing greens. This short-game wizardry became a Ballesteros trademark. The cut came at 5 over par after 36 holes, with 101 players starting the tournament. Benign weather conditions boosted scoring throughout the field, allowing players to attack pins and accumulate birdies more readily than when Augusta played firm and fast. The favorable conditions contributed to Ballesteros's low total. The total purse reached $600,000, with Ballesteros earning a record $66,000 as champion. Prize money had grown dramatically as professional golf's commercial appeal exploded and television revenues increased substantially. The financial rewards for major championship success were becoming genuinely life-changing for players. Tom Watson tied for 6th place in defending form, unable to contend with Ballesteros's brilliance that week. Watson remained one of golf's finest players but could not produce the sustained excellence needed to challenge the young Spaniard's wire-to-wire dominance. His continued competitiveness demonstrated his enduring skills. Gary Player eagled the 13th hole during the tournament but faded to a tied 12th finish, unable to mount a serious challenge for a 4th green jacket. Player's flash of brilliance showed he retained his skills at age 44, though sustaining championship golf over 72 holes proved increasingly difficult as younger, powerful players dominated. Seve's victory opened a new international era at Augusta National, bringing European flair and creativity to a tournament that had been dominated by American champions for most of its history. His success helped grow golf's popularity in Europe and demonstrated that the Masters attracted and rewarded the world's finest players regardless of nationality or background. Ballesteros's attacking style and emotional displays on the course made him immensely popular with galleries who appreciated his aggressive play and visible passion for competition. His celebrations after great shots and visible frustration after mistakes helped fans connect with his competitive journey and made him one of golf's most compelling personalities. Television coverage brought Ballesteros's charismatic performance to worldwide audiences who appreciated witnessing the emergence of a new international star. The broadcast quality continued improving with better production values, helping viewers understand and appreciate the excellence they were witnessing. Seve's victory attracted significant European viewership. The tournament's international profile expanded dramatically with Ballesteros's victory, as golf fans in Spain and throughout Europe celebrated his historic achievement. His success helped grow the Masters' global reach and demonstrated that the tournament had truly become a worldwide championship attracting the planet's finest players. Ballesteros's creative shot-making and fearless approach to Augusta's challenges demonstrated that different playing styles could succeed at the Masters. While power golf had become increasingly important, Seve's ability to work the ball creatively and manufacture shots from difficult positions showed that artistry and imagination still mattered at Augusta. As the 1980 Masters concluded with Seve Ballesteros's dominant wire-to-wire victory, the tournament had crowned a charismatic young champion who would help define golf in the 1980s. His commanding performance and international appeal brought new energy and global attention to the Masters. The victory marked the beginning of Ballesteros's love affair with Augusta National that would produce another green jacket and many memorable moments. The tournament's evolution continued as it balanced tradition with necessary adaptations for television and growing international audiences. The Masters maintained its essential character while embracing changes that enhanced its appeal and reach worldwide, ensuring its position as golf's most prestigious and beloved championship. The 1981 Masters was the 45th tournament at Augusta National, and it featured Tom Watson winning his second green jacket with a score of 280, 8 under par. Watson finished 2 strokes ahead of Jack Nicklaus and Johnny Miller, claiming victory with a final round 71 that held off the Golden Bears' Sunday charge. The win demonstrated Watson's continued excellence at Augusta and his ability to defeat golf's greatest champions in head-to-head competition. Watson's wire-to-wire performance included an opening round 68 that established an early lead he would never relinquish. The fast start put pressure on competitors who found themselves chasing from the beginning, and Watson's ability to maintain his advantage through 72 holes demonstrated the mental toughness and shot-making skills that made him one of the era's most dangerous champions. The final round duel with Jack Nicklaus captivated audiences who appreciated watching two of golf's finest players competing at the highest level. Nicklaus shot 69 in the final round to make a strong run at a record 6th green jacket, but Watson's steady play and clutch putting held him off. The competition between these two champions created drama that elevated the tournament's appeal. Watson birdied the 13th and 15th holes during the final round to extend his lead and protect his advantage down the stretch. His aggressive play on these par 5s demonstrated his willingness to attack scoring opportunities rather than play conservatively to protect leads. This attacking mentality characterized Watson's approach and made him particularly dangerous with advantages. Jack Nicklaus's runner-up finish extended his pattern of near misses at Augusta between his victories. The Golden Bear remained one of the world's most dangerous competitors at age 41, still capable of contending for major championships and green jackets. His continued excellence demonstrated that great champions could remain competitive well into their 40s at Augusta. Johnny Miller tied Nicklaus for second place after a strong week that showed flashes of the form that had made him dominant earlier in the 1970s. Miller's resurgence provided hope that he might capture a second Masters title, though he would ultimately be unable to add to his single major championship victory at the US Open. The cut came at 5 over par after 36 holes, with 93 players starting the tournament. Mild weather conditions allowed for aggressive play and reasonable scoring throughout the field, though Augusta's demands still separated contenders from those who struggled with the course's strategic challenges and demanding green complexes. The total purse reached $750,000, with Watson earning $90,000 as champion. Prize money had grown dramatically as professional golf's commercial appeal exploded and television revenues increased substantially. The financial rewards for major championship success were becoming genuinely life-changing and helping attract stronger fields. Greg Norman made his Masters debut in 1981, finishing tied for 4th place and announcing his arrival as a serious contender at Augusta. The powerful Australian's game seemed well suited to the course's demands, and his strong debut suggested he would contend for green jackets in future years. Norman's international appeal helped continue expanding the Masters' global profile. Tom Kite finished tied for 6th place, continuing his pattern of solid performances at Augusta without breaking through for a victory. Kite's consistent competitiveness demonstrated his skills and understanding of the course, though converting these advantages into a green jacket would prove frustratingly elusive throughout his career. Watson's second Masters victory, combined with his success at other major championships, established him as one of the era's dominant players and a worthy successor to Nicklaus's throne. His complete game and competitive fire made him formidable at all types of courses, and his strategic intelligence helped him navigate Augusta's demands effectively. Television coverage brought Watson's victory and the Nicklaus duel to audiences worldwide who appreciated witnessing championship golf at its finest. The broadcast quality continued improving with better camera work and production values, helping viewers experience the drama and tension of major championship competition. The tournament's traditions remained central to its identity and appeal, with the green jacket ceremony honoring Watson's second victory while connecting him to his 1977 triumph and to past champions. These customs created continuity that distinguished the Masters from other championships and reinforced its status as golf's most tradition-rich event. The early 1980s represented a transitional period in professional golf, with Watson at his peak while younger players like Norman began emerging who would define the next generation of champions. The competitive balance created compelling tournaments and ensured that no single player dominated completely. As the 1981 Masters concluded with Tom Watson's second green jacket, the tournament had witnessed another chapter in his remarkable career and another near-miss for Jack Nicklaus's pursuit of a sixth title. Watson's wire-to-wire performance demonstrated sustained excellence and the ability to handle pressure throughout all 4 rounds. The victory reinforced his status as one of golf's greatest champions and added another memorable chapter to Masters history. The tournament's growing purses and international fields reflected golf's explosion in popularity during the early 1980s. The Masters led this growth through its traditions, compelling competition, and ability to attract the world's finest players to Augusta each April. The combination of history and excellence made the tournament special. The 1982 Masters was the 46th tournament at Augusta National, and it featured Craig Stadler winning with a score of 284, 4 under par. Stadler defeated Dan Pohl on the first sudden death playoff hole after both finished regulation tied, claiming his only major championship victory with clutch play when it mattered most. The mustachioed Stadler, nicknamed the Walrus, became one of golf's most distinctive champions with his stocky build and aggressive playing style. Stadler parred the 10th hole in the playoff to defeat Pohl, who bogeyed after missing the green with his approach shot. The playoff victory demonstrated Stadler's ability to execute quality shots under maximum pressure and capitalize when opponents faltered. His steady play throughout the sudden death hole contrasted with Pohl's mistake and proved decisive in determining the championship. The regulation finish saw Stadler birdie the 14th hole during the final round to tie Pohl and force the playoff. His ability to produce a crucial birdie when trailing demonstrated the competitive fire and shot-making skills that had made him successful on tour. The timely birdie kept his championship hopes alive and set up the playoff opportunity. Dan Pohl led entering the final round but could not convert his advantage into victory, ultimately falling short in the playoff. Pohl's near-miss was particularly painful as he had been in position to claim his first major championship but could not execute when it mattered most. His strong week demonstrated his talent, though major victories would ultimately elude him. Seve Ballesteros, the defending champion, contended through 3 rounds but faded with a final round 77 that dropped him to a tie for 8th place. The Spaniard's struggles on Sunday demonstrated the difficulty of successfully defending at Augusta, where course conditions and competition made consecutive victories extraordinarily challenging. The cut came at 7 over par after 36 holes, with 98 players starting the tournament. Firm, fast conditions made scoring difficult throughout the week, particularly for players who struggled with trajectory control and precision distance management on Augusta's demanding greens. The total purse reached $900,000, with Stadler earning $90,000 as champion. Prize money continued growing substantially as professional golf's commercial appeal expanded and television revenues increased dramatically. The financial rewards for major championship success were becoming substantial and helping support larger fields of full-time touring professionals. Tom Watson tied for 5th place in his title defense, unable to match the excellence that had brought him the 1981 championship. Watson's solid finish demonstrated his continued competitiveness at Augusta, though winning required everything to align perfectly given the strength of the fields competing each year. Jack Nicklaus finished tied for 15th place at age 42, still competitive but no longer the dominant force he had been during his prime years. The Golden Bear's presence remained meaningful, and he could still contend when his game peaked, but younger players were gradually taking control of major championships. Stadler's victory demonstrated that players with powerful games and aggressive mentalities could succeed at Augusta when combined with solid short games and clutch putting. His willingness to attack the course rather than play conservatively separated him from more tentative competitors who allowed scoring opportunities to pass unused. The playoff format continued producing dramatic finishes and immediate resolutions that worked well for television audiences. The single-hole sudden death created tension and excitement that 18-hole playoffs could not match, and the format had proven successful since its 1979 introduction. Curtis Strange tied for fourth place, demonstrating the form that would eventually bring him major championship success. Strange's consistent competitiveness at Augusta showed his understanding of the course's demands, though a green jacket would ultimately elude him despite multiple strong performances. Television coverage captured Stadler's distinctive appearance and emotional celebration, bringing his triumph to audiences worldwide. The broadcast quality continued improving with better production values, helping viewers appreciate the drama and significance of major championship golf. The tournament's traditions remained central to its identity, with the green jacket ceremony welcoming Stadler into the exclusive fraternity of Masters champions. The ceremony connected him to past champions while honoring his achievement through clutch playoff performance. As the 1982 Masters concluded with Craig Stadler's playoff victory, the tournament had crowned another worthy champion who executed under pressure to claim golf's most coveted prize. Stadler's ability to produce quality golf in the sudden death format demonstrated the mental toughness that separated champions from talented players who faltered in crucial moments. The victory provided the signature achievement of his career and ensured his permanent place in Masters history. The 1982 championship reflected the competitive balance in professional golf, with multiple players possessing the skills to win major championships when their games peaked. Stadler's breakthrough demonstrated that patient players who avoided mistakes and capitalized on opponents' errors could triumph at Augusta. The tournament's continued evolution balanced tradition with necessary adaptations for television and growing global audiences. The Masters maintained its essential character while embracing changes that enhanced its appeal and reach worldwide, ensuring its position as golf's most prestigious championship. Stadler's distinctive appearance and aggressive playing style made him a popular figure among galleries who appreciated his willingness to attack courses and take on difficult shots. His emotional celebrations and visible competitive fire helped fans connect with his journey to championship success at Augusta National. The 1983 Masters was the 47th tournament at Augusta National, and it featured Seve Ballesteros winning his second green jacket with a score of 280, 8 under par. The Spanish champion finished 4 strokes ahead of Ben Crenshaw and Tom Kite, claiming victory with a commanding wire-to-wire performance that demonstrated his maturity and complete mastery of Augusta's demands. The win validated Ballesteros' status as one of golf's brightest stars and most charismatic champions. Ballesteros birdied the 13th, 15th, and 18th holes during the final round to pull away from the field and turn a close competition into a comfortable victory. His aggressive play on these scoring opportunities demonstrated the attacking mentality that characterized his game and made him such a dangerous competitor. The ability to produce birdies precisely when needed most separated champions from talented players who could not elevate their games in crucial moments. The wire-to-wire victory after an opening 68 demonstrated Ballesteros' ability to handle pressure from the front throughout all 4 rounds. Leading major championships created unique mental challenges, but the Spaniard thrived in such situations, playing confident, aggressive golf from start to finish. His fearless approach to the game made him particularly dangerous when holding advantages. The championship confirmed Ballesteros as one of Augusta's elite multiple winners, joining the exclusive group of players who had claimed 2 or more green jackets. His victories in 1980 and now 1983 demonstrated that his first triumph was no fluke but rather the beginning of a distinguished relationship with the tournament. Ballesteros understood Augusta's demands and returned to contend repeatedly. Ben Crenshaw finished second alone, continuing his pursuit of a first Masters victory despite multiple strong performances. Crenshaw's smooth putting stroke and creative short game suited Augusta's demands perfectly, and his consistent contention suggested that a green jacket would eventually come. His runner-up finish demonstrated both his skills and the frustration of coming close without winning. Tom Kite tied for second place, extending his pattern of high finishes at Augusta without breaking through for a victory. Kite's consistent excellence demonstrated his complete game and understanding of the course, though converting these advantages into a green jacket proved frustratingly elusive. His continued competitiveness showed he possessed the skills needed to win at Augusta. The cut came at 5 over par after 36 holes, with 99 players starting the tournament. Favorable weather conditions allowed for aggressive play and reasonable scoring, though Augusta's strategic challenges and demanding green complexes still separated contenders from those who struggled with the course's demands. The total purse reached $1,275,000, with Ballesteros earning $90,000 as champion. Prize money had grown dramatically as professional golf's commercial appeal exploded and television revenues increased substantially. The financial rewards for major championship success were becoming genuinely life-changing and helping attract the strongest possible fields. Raymond Floyd tied for 5th place, demonstrating continued competitiveness more than a decade after his 1976 victory. Floyd's sustained excellence at Augusta reflected his complete game and deep understanding of the course's demands. His ability to contend across multiple decades made him one of the tournament's most respected competitors. Jack Nicklaus tied for 8th place at age 43, still competitive but no longer the dominant force he had been during his prime. The Golden Bear's presence remained meaningful and he could still produce moments of brilliance, though sustained championship golf over 72 holes proved increasingly difficult as younger, powerful players dominated major championships. Ballesteros's creative shot-making and emotional displays on the course continued making him immensely popular with galleries who appreciated his aggressive play and visible passion for competition. His celebrations after great shots and visible frustration after mistakes helped fans connect with his competitive journey and made him one of golf's most compelling personalities to watch. Television coverage brought Ballesteros's charismatic performance to worldwide audiences who appreciated witnessing his artistry and flair. The broadcast quality continued improving with better production values and comprehensive coverage helping viewers understand and appreciate the excellence they were witnessing. Ballesteros's international appeal attracted significant European viewership. The tournament's international profile expanded further with Ballesteros's second victory, as golf fans in Spain and throughout Europe celebrated his achievement. His success helped grow the Masters' global reach and demonstrated that the tournament had truly become a worldwide championship attracting the planet's finest players regardless of nationality. The 1983 championship demonstrated that Ballesteros's creative, imaginative playing style could produce sustained success at Augusta. While power golf had become increasingly important, Seve's ability to work the ball creatively and manufacture shots from difficult positions showed that artistry and imagination still mattered enormously at the Masters. As the 1983 Masters concluded with Seve Ballesteros's second dominant victory, the tournament had witnessed the maturation of one of golf's most talented and exciting champions. His commanding wire-to-wire performance demonstrated complete mastery of Augusta's demands and validated his status among the game's elite players. The victory reinforced Ballesteros's love affair with the Masters and suggested more green jackets might follow. The 1984 Masters was the 48th tournament at Augusta National, and it featured Ben Crenshaw winning his first green jacket with a score of 277, 11 under par. Crenshaw finished 2 strokes ahead of Tom Watson, claiming victory with a final round 68 that demonstrated the putting brilliance and creative shot-making that had made him one of golf's most talented players. The win represented the culmination of years of near misses at Augusta and validated Crenshaw's exceptional skills. Crenshaw's magical putting throughout the week proved decisive, particularly during the final round when he needed to hold off Watson's challenge. His ability to read Augusta's lightning-fast greens and execute perfect speed control separated him from competitors who struggled on the slick surfaces. The putting excellence that had earned him the nickname Gentle Ben reached its peak during this championship week. The final round 68 included crucial birdies on holes 10, 13, and 15 that extended his lead and protected his advantage. His aggressive play on these scoring opportunities demonstrated the confidence that came from years of experience at Augusta. Crenshaw's ability to produce birdies precisely when needed most showed the maturity and shot-making skills required to win major championships. Tom Watson mounted a strong Sunday challenge but could not quite catch Crenshaw, finishing second alone. Watson's runner-up finish represented another frustrating near-miss in his pursuit of additional Masters titles beyond his 2 victories in 1977 and 1981. His continued competitiveness demonstrated sustained excellence even as younger players began emerging. The victory was particularly emotional for Crenshaw, whose love for golf history and Augusta National traditions made winning the Masters especially meaningful. His reverence for the tournament and its past champions gave the victory deeper significance than just another professional win. Crenshaw's tears during the green jacket ceremony reflected genuine emotion and appreciation for joining this exclusive fraternity. Gil Morgan briefly held the lead during the final round before fading, demonstrating how quickly fortunes could change at Augusta on Sunday afternoons. Morgan's inability to maintain his advantage showed the mental challenges of protecting leads at major championships, where pressure could cause even experienced players to falter at crucial moments. The cut came at 5 over par after 36 holes, with 99 players starting the tournament. Benign weather conditions allowed for aggressive play and low scoring throughout the field, with Augusta's demanding greens providing the primary defense against sustained birdie runs. The total purse reached $1,350,000, with Crenshaw earning $90,000 as champion. Prize money continued growing substantially as professional golf's commercial appeal expanded and television revenues increased dramatically. The financial rewards for major championship success were becoming substantial and supporting larger fields of full-time professionals. Seve Ballesteros finished tied for 9th place in defending form, unable to match the excellence that had brought him consecutive victories in 1980 and 1983. Ballesteros' struggles demonstrated the difficulty of winning 3 consecutive Masters titles, an achievement that no player had yet accomplished in tournament history. Jack Nicklaus tied for 18th place at age 44, showing flashes of brilliance but unable to sustain championship golf over 72 holes. The Golden Bear remained dangerous when his game peaked, though stringing together 4 excellent rounds proved increasingly difficult as younger players with greater length and stamina dominated major championships. David Edwards tied for 4th place as a 25-year-old, representing the next generation of American players who would compete at Augusta throughout the 1980s and beyond. His strong performance demonstrated the depth of talent in professional golf and the continuous emergence of new contenders. Crenshaw's victory validated his distinctive playing style, which emphasized feel, creativity, and exceptional putting rather than raw power. His success showed that different paths to victory existed at Augusta, and that touch and finesse could still prevail against longer hitters when short game skills reached elite levels. Television coverage captured Crenshaw's emotional victory and his genuine appreciation for winning at Augusta. The broadcast quality continued improving with better production values, helping viewers understand the significance of the moment and appreciate Crenshaw's deep connection to golf's traditions and history. The tournament's traditions remained central to its appeal, with the green jacket ceremony taking on special meaning for Crenshaw given his love of golf history. His induction into the fraternity of Masters champions fulfilled a lifelong dream and connected him to the legends he had studied and admired throughout his life. As the 1984 Masters concluded with Ben Crenshaw's emotional first victory, the tournament had crowned one of golf's most talented and historically knowledgeable champions. Crenshaw's putting brilliance and creative shot-making throughout the week demonstrated the complete skills required to win at Augusta. The victory represented the culmination of years of striving and near misses, making the triumph especially sweet and meaningful for Gentle Ben and his many admirers. The tournament's growing commercial success reflected both the quality of champions and the compelling narratives that Augusta produced year after year. Each memorable performance added to the Masters' mystique and reinforced its status as golf's premier championship event. The 1985 Masters was the 49th tournament at Augusta National, and it featured Bernhard Langer winning with a score of 282, 6 under par. The German champion finished 2 strokes ahead of Curtis Strange, Seve Ballesteros, and Raymond Floyd, claiming victory with a final round 68 that demonstrated exceptional ball striking and clutch putting. Langer became the second European player to win the Masters, following Seve Ballesteros, and continued the tournament's growing international character. Langer's final round 68 included crucial birdies on holes 13 and 15 that extended his lead and protected his advantage down the stretch. His aggressive play on these par fives demonstrated both his power and his willingness to attack scoring opportunities rather than play conservatively. The ability to produce birdies precisely when needed most separated champions from talented players who could not elevate their games in decisive moments. The victory was particularly impressive given Langer's previous struggles with the putting yips, a condition that had threatened to derail his career. His adoption of an unusual grip technique helped him regain confidence on the greens, and his putting improvement proved crucial at Augusta, where green reading and speed control determined championships. Langer's triumph over this adversity inspired other players facing similar challenges. Curtis Strange finished in a 3-way tie for second place, continuing his pattern of strong performances at major championships without breaking through for victories. Strange's runner-up finish demonstrated his complete game and understanding of Augusta's demands, though converting contention into green jackets proved frustratingly elusive. His time would eventually come at other major championships. Seve Ballesteros tied for second place despite seeking his third Masters title, unable to quite match Langer's Sunday excellence. The Spanish champion remained one of golf's most dangerous competitors and a perennial Augusta favorite, though winning required everything to align perfectly given the strength of the fields and the course's demands. Raymond Floyd also tied for second at age 42, demonstrating remarkable longevity and sustained competitiveness nearly a decade after his 1976 victory. Floyd's ability to contend at Augusta across multiple decades reflected his complete game and deep understanding of the course's strategic demands and green complexes. The cut came at 5 over par after 36 holes, with 99 players starting the tournament. Mild weather conditions allowed for aggressive play and reasonable scoring, though Augusta's strategic challenges still separated contenders from those who struggled with the course's demands and subtle nuances. The total purse reached $1,500,000, with Langer earning $90,000 as champion. Prize money continued growing substantially as professional golf's commercial appeal expanded and television revenues increased dramatically. The financial rewards for major championship success were becoming genuinely life-changing for players worldwide. Jack Nicklaus tied for 6th place at age 45, demonstrating flashes of the brilliance that had brought him 5 green jackets. The Golden Bear remained dangerous at Augusta, where his course knowledge and experience could compensate for any loss of physical skills. His continued competitiveness inspired hope that he might add another green jacket before his career concluded. Tom Watson tied for 10th place, Still competitive but no longer the dominant force he had been during his peak years in the late 1970s and early 1980s. Watson's sustained excellence demonstrated his complete game, though winning additional majors required everything to align perfectly as younger, powerful players increasingly dominated championships. Langer's victory expanded the Masters' international profile further, as golf fans in Germany and throughout Europe celebrated his historic achievement. His success demonstrated that the tournament had truly become a worldwide championship, attracting and rewarding the planet's finest players regardless of nationality or background. European golf was rising in prominence and competitiveness. The championship showcased Langer's methodical, precise playing style that emphasized accuracy over distance and careful course management over aggressive risk-taking. His approach demonstrated that different paths to victory existed at Augusta, and that precision ball striking combined with solid putting could overcome longer hitters when execution reached elite levels. Television coverage brought Langer's triumph to audiences worldwide who appreciated witnessing international golf's continued growth and the emergence of European champions. The broadcast quality continued improving with better production values and comprehensive coverage, helping viewers understand the significance of Langer's achievement. The tournament's traditions remained central to its identity and appeal, with the green jacket ceremony welcoming Langer as the second European champion and honoring his achievement through clutch performance under pressure. The ceremony connected him to past champions while celebrating the tournament's growing international character. As the 1985 Masters concluded with Bernhard Langer's victory, the tournament had crowned another international champion and demonstrated golf's truly global nature. Langer's triumph over personal challenges with putting and his methodical excellence throughout the week validated his status among the world's elite players. The victory continued the Masters' evolution into a championship that transcended national boundaries and celebrated excellence from champions worldwide. The mid-1980s marked a period of transition in professional golf, with established stars like Watson and Nicklaus still competitive while younger international players increasingly dominated major championships. This competitive balance created compelling tournaments and ensured no single player or nation controlled the sport completely.